Hey guys, welcome back to Cody Tarot. I'm your tarot reader, Cody. So in today's Pick a Card, we're going to be doing messages you need to hear regarding love. This is a single AF reading, which means that if you are currently single, specifically also if you've been single for a really long time, I want to pull messages for you guys, for the people who haven't had a relationship in a really long time. In today's reading, we're going to be getting into advice. So what can you do to further advance your love situation or your attraction or to manifest a relationship? And then we're also going to be pulling cards for general prediction trends. I'm going to be doing a little bit of both, a little bit of how you can access your future via free will, and a little bit of how you can access your future via just knowing what's to come. So let's get started. We have 5 groups in front of us. In today's reading, and all pick a cards in general, you're going to select one of the crystals in front of you, group 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Then you're going to go to the timestamps in the description box, select the timestamp that's associated with your group and crystal, and that will fast forward you to your reading. Anyway, so let's get started with the reading. If you need more time to select your crystal, if you pause the video and you meditate before you pick, something like that, you can do that now. Let's get into it. Without further ado, let's get into group 1 with the, I gotta tell you the crystals, show you them up close and personal. This one, I'm forgetting things. This one is Angel Aura Quartz. That's the first crystal. The second crystal is Blue Lace Agate. The third crystal is Sunset Sodalite. It's a very raw, rough piece of Sunset Sodalite. Our fourth group is Lithium Quartz. It has this kind of grayish, pinkish tint to it. And our last group is Green Calcite. I don't know why, but green calcite always reminds me, it's like the stone that's sweating, because it has this glistening effect to it that looks like water. Anyway, so let's get into your reading. Sorry, I have music on right now. It's to help motivate me to get started reading and stuff like that. But I will see you guys, catch you in your pile, and let's get into it. Hey, group 1, this is if you picked the Angel Aura Quartz. This will be your reading. So I'm going to get started pulling 2 oracle cards, and then tarot cards and 1 playing card. So let's get started. First, I want to get you an Angelarium Oracle of Emanations card. Let's see. The oracle cards are primarily going to be what you can do to change your fate. The tarot cards are going to be primarily what is going to happen no matter what. Now, there's going to be a mix between these two. I'm going to try and blend them as best I can. Okay, let's see. Let's get a oracle card. What can they do for my singles out there to attract love? We have Chesed Right Hand Empathy. And let's get a Moonology Manifestation card. What can group 1 do to attract love? This card is it's kind of sticky. We have Last Quarter Moon and Leo Lighten Up. Then I want to get you a playing card. Let's get group 1 a playing card to represent how they can best integrate their free will and their fate together. Let's see, and we have the 10 of Clubs as your playing card. And last, we're going to get some tarot cards for you guys. Okay. Let's see, let's get some... Okay, right away we have 6 of Wands. Put the playing card in the middle right under here. That seems cool. Okay, so let's put the 6 of Wands right there. Okay, let's see what else. We need some cards to see how will things most likely play out. What are the circumstances presented to group 1 when it comes to their love life and upcoming future? We also have the Strength card. This card wants to come out. We have the 10 of Wands. Let's see what else is going to come out. This one, we have Page of Swords, and I'm going to take this one. We have Page of Pentacles. Let's see what else wants to come out. going to draw off the top for this one. We have 5 of Swords. Okay. Let's move that there. Okay. Let me organize, like, make these cards look pretty, like, you know, put that there, I guess. Just trying to organize them so they look good. I have to literally get out of my chair to make sure they're all angled straight, and they sometimes aren't. Oh, that looks decent enough, right? Okay, so let me look this over and I'll get into your reading. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to kind of read the whole thing holistically and go back and forth between actions you can take and what's going to happen to you. And we'll get on with the reading. So first of all, a few things that are just going to happen. So first of all, with 6 of Wands, you're coming into a time of popularity. I think you'll be in demand, especially from friends. So as far as your love life goes, at least in the friendship category, there's going to be a lot of recognition. You're going to attract a lot of people. The thing is, we have these 2 types of people primarily coming in. Both of them seem like they're younger people in general. Page of Swords energy, Page of Pentacles energy. The one thing that I'm seeing with these 2 types of people that are coming in for you that are opportunities to like engage with Page of Swords, these are people who are holding back something not so nice to say. These are people who, if you are confrontational with them, they are going to swing their sword, right? But the Page of Swords is holding his sword in reverse. He's like waiting to swing it, right? There's a few options the page can do here. He can either swing his sword and thus attacking you, or he can drop his sword and engage with you in a very like conversational manner, or like something really easy or flirtatious, something like that. You may have found that people that you're attracted to for like no reason at all get really confrontational with you, or they seem placid on the exterior, like they would be calm people. They would be people that wouldn't get into fights very easily, and then you find out all of a sudden they're just like waiting to start something. That's kind of the energy that's coming in for you, but there's a way around it. There's a way to lower these people's defenses. And the key is here is with the 10 of Clubs. This is integrating the tools you can use with your destiny, right? With 10 of Clubs here, the thing I'm seeing is to drop your ego. If you look at the 10 of Clubs, there's an empty space in the middle of the card, and then they're just surrounded by people. That's giving me the vibe of the 6 of Wands with like, just in general, like lots of passionate energy. And also with the clubs, this is talking about conversation and communication, at least how I see clubs in the playing card system. One thing that I am seeing, dropping your ego, dropping your ideas, dropping what you believe in, not imposing your beliefs on others, specifically with this Page of Swords type person, it's going to get them to open up. At least especially initially, right? Especially initially, if you don't come at this person with strong opinions, this person is going to open up. They're going to drop their sword. They're going to be kind. They're going to be nice. This person only swings their sword when they're, in the way I'm seeing it in this reading, when they're dealing with someone who has kind of an ego and they want to chop them down to size, that kind of vibe. Overall, you guys, though, you have this popularity about you, and there's strength in this popularity is what I'm seeing. Strong indications that this kind of popularity is going to be protecting you. I also see that with the Strength card, you're already going to be naturally inclined to kindness. You're going to be naturally inclined to kindness coming up in this next period of your life, and I really feel like you'll be able to tame the most wild of beasts. Right? So with Page of Swords here, I don't think these people are going to be a problem for you. You can, there is ways to smooth it over more, but with the Strength card here, I do feel like it'll come natural, or it's just something that's going to happen. Now with right hand empathy and last quarter moon in Leo, lighten up. There's a few things here that need to come into play. You guys coming up, something you can do to attract more love, especially for my singles who have been out of love for a very long time. With right hand empathy and last quarter moon in Leo, lighten up, reconciling your empathetic self, which is deep, which is caring, which is sensitive. And you guys all have this core in you, even if you think you're tough cookies, because I do see that a lot of you who pick this pile, you think you're like tough shit and you're you're the dominator kind of vibe. Like, I'm getting this vibe from you guys. With empathy, I do feel like you guys have deep, deep empathy within you. Now, it's interesting because I also see you have this very lighthearted side to you, right? Very Leo energy where it's like center of attention. It's very much this vibe of having fun. It's this vibe of throwing all cares to the wind, not caring how people feel, just having fun anyway, no matter what you say or do, just like throwing caution all to the wind and, just having fun at whatever cost possible. I see you guys as extremely adventurous. Honestly, like there's a vibe that you guys are extremely adventurous, but there's also a vibe that you guys get into these moods, these really deep, brooding, like, how do I put it? Like, really, it's almost like I see you retreating from the world and I see you processing things in a really empathetic way. I see you really, when you're alone, thinking about how you treat people or thinking about how people are feeling or this. If someone comes up to you with a sob story, you guys are my types that really feel that story. And it's like when you go home and you'll think about what people tell you and you'll wish them well, or you'll feel their issues, something like that. Some of you also, you see signs in movies, television, tarot readings that are related to the people you know in your life. You guys might be the types that get a tarot reading and you're like, this does not resonate with me at all. But it's really talking about someone you're close with and someone you know. You're literally getting a reading about their life because you're meant to feel the emotions of the people around you, right? Now, this is the interesting thing. The thing that's going to attract love to you is when you can finally combine your empathy with your lighthearted nature. When those two combine, and the way I'm seeing it is using your fun to cheer up people who are down. That is a way to bring in your lighthearted side with a sense of empathy to channel that into helping others who are struggling. The other way this can work is seeing the seriousness of the jokes you make. Yeah, it's almost like understanding that your words have weight, that you can't just say anything and it go like, not unpunished, that's the wrong word. You can't just say anything and not have it affect people, right? Like people are affected by what you say. But this is a gift that can be used to your advantage because I do see that the energy is actually leaning more towards, now that I think about it, the energy is leaning more towards using your jokes to lighten someone's mood who's upset. That's kind of the vibe that I'm seeing. It's like you guys are the ones that provide that sense of humor when someone is down, when someone is suffering, and it gets them to not see things so seriously, right? That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. That is going to be the thing that attracts lovers to you. So for the most part, I see you guys really like you joke and you have a good time. And sometimes I'm seeing it can kind of get chaotic, like the fun that you have. And then other times you're just like, man, I can't believe so-and-so told me about this issue they're having. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I don't want to feel it. I almost see you guys as rejecting your empathy. Like, I don't want to feel it. Why did they tell me? Now I feel bad for them. I was having a good time. And then they put this Debbie Downer story on me, right? One thing that could be beneficial, right, is processing your empathy and accepting it while you're alone. And really diving deep into it, because some of you, you're already doing this. I mentioned that earlier in the reading, but some of you struggle with this, with accepting it and really feeling the feelings of people around you. And the universe will keep showing you signs. So for example, say you're rejecting feeling a friend's pain. You're going to keep seeing tarot readings about that person and not tarot readings for you, because the universe is trying to show you to pay attention to these people. I think you're almost like a healer in this lifetime. But with Lighten Up, it's interesting. You guys have a lot of fun with people, but maybe not necessarily the people who need that fun to have a better life. And so the secret here is not finding some profound thing to say to the people that are suffering. Oftentimes people who are depressed are already drowning in the profound anyway. So it's to get them to lighten up. It's to cheer them up. It's to raise their mood. It's to raise their vitality. This is the type of situation where if the Debbie Downer is in your friend circle or is like kind of hanging around and you are rejecting them, this is the kind of energy where it's like you will attract more love into your life, more relationships when you start accepting the Debbie Downers, right? Now, I'm not going to say you're going to be in a relationship with the Debbie Downer, right? That's not necessarily what's happening here. But what I am seeing with Lighten Up is this total vibe of just like healing others, and it brings your mood lighter because you guys are empaths. You guys have empathy. When you heal someone socially, when you finally invite that downer person into the group and you get them, you crack a joke and get them to laugh, right? This is also striking very much the chord of acceptance, right? Like, and not resisting. Because I feel like with your guys' empathy, you resist it a lot, right? It's meant to flow into you and flow out of you. And you're meant to be this kind of recycling thing where you pull in the problems and you show people the light. Yeah, I think when you invite these sad people into your reality, sorry, I'm trying to make light of it too, and I think that it sometimes your guys' suffering goes unnoticed because maybe you guys don't talk about your problems either, but usually your problems are just related to other people's problems. Usually, like I think for you guys, if you avoid sad people, it works for a while because you're not absorbing their emotions and you're actually, in the environment with your friends and everyone who's up and happy. And you can avoid it, but you can't avoid it forever because the universe will keep sending you these people because you will be so much happier when you get in touch with your empathy, when you use that empathy as a navigation point, a direction to channel your joking moods outward, right? To channel your lightheartedness onto other people, to get them to lighten up, to get them to feel happy, to get them to feel a part of the group, or to relieve them from a lot of their suffering. I'm not saying also, how do I put this? I would not engage with people who are not receptive to your energy at the same time, right? Don't reject people. The message that's coming through is don't reject people who are sad just because they're sad. Reject people who are not receptive to your ability to cheer them up. If you're trying to cheer someone up, you're trying to help them with their issues and they stay stuck in their sorrow, that's someone who wants to be on that vibration. And well, it's not necessarily that they want to be on that vibration, but you're not their healer. You're not supposed to heal them, right? You might be representative of someone they'll meet one day who's going to be a healer, and they might remember you and associate that new healer with them. You two are different people. That's why that new healer will work for them and you didn't. But overall, work with people who are receptive to your energy. I think this is going to be a major breakthrough for you guys, and I think this is coming up for you as well. I know I'm saying this is something you have to do, but it is something you're going to have to put a little conscious effort to work on. You're going to have to accept the pain of some other people that bring it into your life, and sit with those emotions. And then, when you're watching TV, when you're watching pick a cards, when you're seeing signs, angel numbers, you'll know based on who you're thinking about what sign is resonating for that specific person. And these are going to be people, most likely these are going to be people that are going to come into your life on the regular. These are people that are going to enter your life pretty regularly. And the interesting thing about this as well is you will have many opportunities to reach out to them, to engage with them, to bring them into the group, to bring them into your circle, to get them to lighten up, to cheer them up. Remember, I'm getting this message strongly. If people are not receptive to your positivity, right? I'm getting strong vibes of like this card is so pink. I'm getting rose quartz vibes. If they're not receptive, you can't make them be happy. That's another thing that I want to point out. So, how do I put this? You guys are meant to cheer people up. You're meant to cheer people up and you're meant to bring them out of their suffering by lightening their mood. That's the main thing. Okay, back to the cards of the inevitabilities. That was the portion of the reading of like what you can do to attract really crazy love, right? Because I am saying that could be a bonding factor for you and a partner. It's almost like people who are your potential mates, how do I put this? You're repelled by them because they're not fun, but you would totally transform them if you showed them your fun side, if you brought them into the group, if you helped them in some way cheer up. I'm seeing that strongly. And I'm seeing those are the people that are going to be the most loyal to you, right? You guys might have had issues with loyalty in the past. Maybe people cheated on you, or you haven't gotten into a relationship because you're afraid people aren't going to be loyal. Maybe you have a bunch of friends and you see certain things in their relationships and you're like, man, and that's the kind of thing about deep relationships is most likely relationships that are deep or meaningful. There's stronger loyalty between those people, at least for you guys. That's what's going to happen for you. You might see a lot of people cheating in your friend group or, your friend getting cheated on or something like that. But the thing is these people who are like suffering, right? And that you're feeling their empathy. You're using your empathy. Your empathy is activated in feeling them. Once you affect them, it's like a bonding moment, right? It's like, wow, this person really listened to me. Like they really care. They have true empathy, right? Empathy is not really empathy if you're not actively using it, essentially. It's like you can have empathy all you want, but at the end of the day, if you're not making conscious choices to use that, because it's really just information. It's emotional information about other people. It's really like emotional telepathy, essentially, a one-way telepathy, emotional telepathy. And if you guys don't use it, like it's just something that's going to cause you to suffer, right? And you can keep pushing people away that are sad. Like I'm seeing that has worked for you guys for the most part, but it does cause a little bit of resistance. And whether you go through this transformation now or later in your life, this transformation is going to happen. And you will start cheering people up who are sad and showing them the light. Sometimes this can just simply be as if you pick up on someone's mood socially, complimenting something about them that you think they would like to hear, something like that. Remember, if people aren't receptive, just back off, right? You're not their healer. You're not meant to fix them. You do have people in this life you are meant to fix and heal. That is true. Now with Strength card, I do see you inevitably coming into a more kinder vibration coming up soon. You're going to be very popular, and a lot of this comes from more of your kindness than your like super fun side, right? This comes from like, how do I put it? Like, what's that called? It's the most common thing. I don't know why I'm blanking on it. It's like considering people's feelings versus just making the joke at all costs. It's like really paying attention to what someone's needs are, that kind of thing. There's a car outside driving by. The engine is like reminding me of purring, like this cat purring. Hold on, guys. I'm letting myself get the message. Your kindness arouses people. Holy shit. When you're kind, people get, I don't want to get crude, but people get aroused, right? People get aroused, like really aroused when you're kind to them. Like that's something that like people don't think you have in you. But when you're kind to them, that's when people get turned on. That's when people want to have sex with you. That's when people are like, let's go on the date. Like, let's get down. Like, let's make it happen, right? And I do see your kindness arousing people in this next period. I'm imagining like cats in heat and with the strength card here. And I'm really feeling like you're kind of attracting these, it's not really you're attracting, you're putting them into heat by being kind to them because people don't expect it from you. That's the kind of thing. So when you reach out and you're like really kind or you say something or do something really nice, people are like, whoa, that's sexy. That's hot. With 10 of Wands here, I do think with this information, you guys will be drowning in relationships is kind of the vibe that I'm seeing. There's this vibe of like having too much to handle. I do think this will initially make you back off of making these changes. This will initially make you back off from doing these things because you don't realize how powerful you are when you just switch that switch, Also, I think 10 of Wands can also indicate lots of work in general, lots of responsibilities. So even though you will be very popular, you will have a lot of social like friends and things happening socially for you. You might have some success in work, something like that, some success in a hobby, something along those lines. But with the Ten of Wands here, this could be a lot of responsibility coming on, whether it's the people you're responsible for, whether it's your job responsibilities. There's something about having a lot on your plate coming up soon. And especially when it comes to love in general, like the things that I'm seeing in the future, there might be a lot of responsibility associated with love, especially if you haven't integrated these top two changes, right? I'm seeing a lot of that responsibility can be totally alleviated with like a quick joke. I mean, as long as the person's receptive, you know? This card is also urging you that you could carry all these burdens. And what's most likely to happen if you don't make this transformation is you're going to just carry most of these burdens. It's right under the empathy card. There could be vibes of just carrying all of these burdens of other people's emotions and it weighing so heavily on you. In this deck, right? Usually the guy's really strong and he can handle the weight of these sticks. But this guy is kind of a little overweight. I mean, he's not that really in that good a shape. His clothes are torn. I feel like he's struggling, right? Like he's struggling. And I see you guys, you know, like that could be something that if you just, you know, you don't want to just keep piling on other people's emotions, right? Because peripherally you're absorbing that, right? Even if you're in your bubble of friends that are all happy and fun, you're absorbing some negativity from the outside, and it's important to confront that. And the good thing is your lightheartedness is the tool to use, right? That's the beautiful thing. Your lightheartedness is the tool to use. Like I said, if people are not receptive, you're not their healer. That's one thing that is coming through strongly. I feel like I have to repeat it a few times. But yeah. 10 of Clubs. Let's get into this egoless thing. A lot of this comes from sacrificing your ego. Especially with these Page of Swords people, right? If Page of Swords people are coming up, some people are sad and waiting for a fight, right? Because they're so sad, they're so down, they're feeling upset, they're like waiting for a fight. These are the people that might attack you. Like, not attack is a strong word. I'm not saying they're gonna attack you, but they might say something that's like, what? Why'd you say that? Like, why are you being confrontational with me? I'm just telling you this thing, right? These are the types of people too you're gonna want to get into an intellectual argument with, right? Because they look like they'd be fun to talk to about intellectual topics. But they definitely have opinions that they want to swing, especially if someone has the opposite opinion of them. So this is not a good person to engage with opinions. Now, these people are sad and they are receptive to your energy, but it takes a little bit of an egoless approach, right? It means like you have to sacrifice your ideas. And that's why I don't think these people are going to be good relationship material for you. But as far as like getting good karma in love, this is your karmic person that if you deal with them effectively multiple times, and remember, sometimes in karma, we get repeated lessons and we're like, why did I get this lesson? I know how to deal with this issue, right? If that's the case, you know how to deal with it, just deal with it again. You know, if there's a new lesson, that's a new aspect to your karma unfolding. You know, maybe the universe doesn't want to give you all the karmic lessons with one specific type of person, like all the time. Maybe there's a little twist in every individual personality you meet that's a little bit different from the last. You know, that could be that's very much like long-standing karma is when you meet repeated types, but each one's slightly different from the last, and each one has a slightly different variation of the main lesson that they have to teach you. That's something that I see here. Possibility with this type of person. Because once you know how to deal with the person, the karma just goes away. You're just dealing with people, right? Like whether that's to just like say hi to them briefly and move on, or whatever the case may be, the karma's past, you know how to deal with them, right? And the cool thing about this 10 of Clubs, once you start letting go of your thoughts and opinions, with these people, you will be telepathically aware of all of the information that they possess, right? It's in letting go of your ego that you start to absorb this is my card of telepathy with the 10 of Clubs here. You'll start to absorb their opinions. Like you'll start getting downloads in your head while talking to them of their opinions if you take a more active and listening role, right? They might approach you in a more friendly manner. They might discuss opinions with you in a more friendly manner. These people with Page of Swords, even though they're holding back, even though they're reserved, I would let them talk first. I'd let them share an opinion first before you engage with them in a debate. That is going to build trust with them more than sharing your opinion with them right away when you think they would be receptive, because whether you guys have common interests, you believe this in the same thing, whatever, let them share their opinion first. You'll quickly realize that if you drop your ego and listen to them, you can learn a lot and grow tremendously. I think this mainly is going to help you finding love in the future. But yeah, these people will keep coming into your life. This is more the inevitable situations, but how you deal with it, how you integrate, that is kind of how you can integrate with the challenge. Usually swords to me represent challenges. They represent things that we can overcome if we approach it with a different angle. Yeah. Page of Pentacles also talks about some of the sad types that are attracted to you really look up to you. Like, these are people that want to hang out with you and they're kind of needy and they're like really want to hang out, but they just have this kind of downer vibe about them is kind of what I'm seeing. Or they just seem like, how do I put it? Like, the goat is in the back here. So I'm thinking Capricorn. They could be very success oriented, but I'm just getting this vibe that they really look up to you, right? Needy might be pushing it. I don't really see them as needy, but they really look up to you. There's certain people that, you know, and this is the cool thing. There's certain people that when you unlock this part of your empathy and you cheer certain people up, it inspires deep admiration from people, especially younger people, right? If you help some younger person through their struggle, they will deeply admire you from that point on. Like, I think I don't think you guys realize how much charisma you have. I'm actually getting the message that you guys know you're charismatic, but you don't realize the effect this will have on your charisma just by introducing like kindness, introducing like the ability to cheer someone up who's sad. I think people talk. I think people talk about you. And when you cheer someone up who's sad, there's strong indications that that person is going to say good things about you over and over again to anyone who will listen. That might be the thing that attracts the love interest, because maybe the love interest is looking for someone who has good word of mouth, has a good reputation. Yeah, with the Five of Swords, this kind of talks about, I'm going to go over some general overviews because I'm not really getting any messages right off the bat. The Five of Swords talks about isolation, talks about collecting information to the point where no one else has any information, not sharing information. It also can talk about isolation. And I used to think it talked about dominance, like dominating a situation or being the victor, because these guys look defeated in the background. But I don't see it that much anymore. I see it as a shift of the intellectual information going towards your direction. So, and now that I've said all the meanings that I think about with the Five of Swords, maybe some of those meanings resonate with you. The meaning that I'm latching onto as your tarot reader is the meaning of gaining information. I think one thing that you will have throughout the rest of your life as kind of like the pivotal point as life goes on, and something you've already learned, I feel like a lot of you have already learned this, the more life you experience, the stronger your understanding of love becomes. You guys might be single. You might have been single for the rest of your life, but slowly but surely, you are gaining more accurate, pragmatic, and useful information about love and long-term relationships and just relationships in general. You're gaining that information and you're holding on to it. This is a card of retaining information, right? The information is flowing in your direction, you know? This tarot reading, who knows? If you guys resonate with this a lot, so, you know, my readings run the gamut. Some people just don't resonate. I'm sure they just click off and whatnot. But people who really resonate with my readings, I'm getting the vibe that this is going to fast forward your knowledge, right? It's going to give you some ways to fast forward that knowledge and bring in your partner quicker. But Five of Swords just indicates no matter when your partner comes in, your knowledge about long-term relationships is building throughout your life. When that partner finally does come in, right, you will have all the tools in order to be in that relationship. I'm getting the strong vibe that when your partner comes in, there will be no mistakes. You won't make mistakes. Your partner won't think you're making mistakes. You have the type of relationship coming in for you where it's the 10 of clubs. You're telepathically aware of what they want. You're telepathically aware of what they desire. That's kind of the energy that I see you embodying, you know? Yeah, it's a very, you're growing into a very strong person with a lot of knowledge about love. You're growing into a person who embraces their empathy. They don't hide it away in their private moments, like cursing the friend that told them the sad story, because now they're thinking about their sad story and their life, and they can't get it out of their head, and they just want to have fun. You're the type of person who's growing to this person who really absorbs someone's issues. Even if you think about them later, you absorb their issues and you deal with them. Maybe the next time you see that person, you cheer them up. You are someone who ultimately, this kind of higher self version of you that I'm seeing, deals with the emotional shit that comes at you, right? You're not going to be in this 10 of Wands energy unless you want to stay there. I do see this energy, this 10 of Wands and this 5 of Swords, as kind of like inevitabilities, but in a weird way, this can be handled. This is only an inevitability because you're not embracing your empathy. This is the only reason you feel like there's responsibilities just pounding on your door, right? That people are just dropping their shit on you left and right, right? That the only reason is because you're not embracing your empathy. And the thing is, it's like, think of it this way. It's not like embracing the empathy. You don't have to really like revel in the pain. Although I do see you guys like getting stuck there. It's just information. And as soon as you tell yourself, oh, this is just information, this person's feeling this way, information. With Lighten Up, you just know next time you see that person, they need a little love in their life, right? With the Rose Quartz energy, they need some love in their life. They need to feel accepted. They need to feel like someone can make a joke at them or with them. However you lighten people up and get them to cheer up, these people need that. And that's the thing that's going to unlock the door to love. Whether it's through this person, the sad person you help, and they spread this gossip, this positive gossip about you, that you're such a good person. Someone hears about it and they're like, I want someone with a good reputation. I'm getting the vibe that like status is important to your future partner, your next relationship status is important. They want someone who's respected. That's also something that's important to your future partner. They want someone who, and I'm seeing status not in a way that like people assume like, oh, I drive like a BMW and I'm like, I have my own business and I'm just like super successful and I'm like, I'm swimming in a pool of cash. Like that's not the vibe here. It's very much the vibe of like, they want someone who's respected. They want someone who treats other people well. That's the vibe. Your future partner is attracted to people. And here's the thing, people, even if they don't respect you now, I'm seeing you guys have had some issues with this respect, like garnering respect in general. Cause I see you guys are so fun and sometimes you get carried away, right? You get carried away with your jokes. You get carried away with your, your ability to like, make all your friends in your circle feel good. Maybe when you were really young, you had an experience where you made a joke at someone's expense, but then you immediately felt the empathy for that and you learned you couldn't do that. That could be something like a lesson you learned when you were young. Maybe some of you are still learning that lesson, no judgment, right? We all grow at different times, different levels. Hopefully this information helped you guys. I'm feeling like wrapping up the reading. It's feeling like it's coming to a close. Very happy I got to deliver these messages for you guys today. And I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you really enjoyed the reading and you want to help out the channel, want to see it grow, please like or comment below. You can also subscribe if you feel like it. And with that said, I'm going to move on to the next group. Once again, you guys are blessed. You guys are blessed. You're constantly gaining knowledge about relationships where it's going to keep improving. Your ability to deal with people is going to keep improving. As soon as you figure out that your empathy is just information on where you need to direct your lighthearted energy, a lot of these responsibilities will fall away, Yeah. I'll catch you guys in the next pick a card. Bye. Hey group 2, welcome to your reading all about your single AF, kind of what's coming next down the pike for you guys. What are the inevitabilities? What are things you can do about it? We're going to get to all of that in today's reading. Your reading's a little bit special. I felt really called to light a candle for your reading. I felt, you know what would lighten this mood for group 2? We need a candle. It's also like a very overcast day where I'm at. It's very rainy. Maybe these are all signs for you. I was drawn to get a blue candle, and as well we have the blue lace agate. There's a lot of watery themes coming through to start the reading off. So maybe that's a sign for you. Maybe it's not. Who knows? So let's get into your reading. I think I want to start with a Angelarium card. Let's see. And we have Sahaquil, Angel of Sky. Okay. That also explains a lot of the blue. Oh, a card flipped out for you guys. We also have Take a Reality Check, Full Moon in Capricorn. And I also want to get a playing card for you guys. Let's see what playing card wants to come out for group 2. We have 5 of Diamonds. And let's get some tarot cards for group 2 as well. Let me see what we have here as far as, okay. Let's get some tarot cards for group 2. And let's get some more. I'm going to shuffle a little bit more. Let's see what we have here. So, wow, I almost organized the cards in a perfect line. Let's see, I'm going to move those up a little bit. Move your candle off to the side for a second. Okay, I think that's about a very... Okay, anyway, let me look this over and I'll get into your reading. Okay, I'm getting initial messages, and I wanted to keep analyzing the reading, but I'm actually being called to start without fully finishing the analyzation. Usually when I do readings, this just means that the messages are going to come to me as we read, and through the reading, I'll still see more things as we go. So basically the way this reading is set up, down here we have kind of like the cards that are like the inevitabilities. This is kind of like a power move that you can take on. And with these 2 cards up here at the top, these are representing these 2 oracle cards as like things you can do or actions you can take to change your fate, to change your circumstances, or to change what's going to happen. Or you can think of it as like a way to interact with your fate in a way that like gets things to work in your favor. So let's get into your reading. First, I want to start out, this is where I looked initially when I was analyzing the reading, with the 5 of Cups and the 10 of Swords. I feel like you guys have dealt with, you're in this cycle, and it's this cycle of rejection is kind of what I'm seeing. It seems like that you have to make choices every once in a while, or you have to, sometimes it feels like for some of you, you have to choose between 2 options. And it's like you always pick the side with the empty cups and you never look to the side with the full cup, something like that. That's for some of you. Others of you, it's this feeling of social rejection. It is this feeling of worrying about not being accepted by a particular partner or love interest group of friends. You guys might find really good relationships with people, but their group of friends are very antagonistic towards you, something like that. That is also a possibility. The general images, what I'm seeing with the 5 of Cups and the 10 of Swords, is there's this guy noticing how many cups are empty. This is one of the cards of a lack mindset, the other one kind of being like a 5 of Pentacles, but this is the feeling of, man, focusing on why do I have these empty cups? Why are these cups spilled? This, with paired with the 6 of Cups, is indicating this feeling of, I had it so good in the past and it just all went to shit, that kind of thing. You know, it is a very much like a woe is me kind of attitude is kind of what I'm seeing. And I feel like you guys are in this sense of awareness of being trapped in this is kind of what I'm seeing. I'm also seeing this water behind in the 5 of Cups, and behind, there's water behind this guy who's been have his swords in him, and there's water behind the 5 of Cups as well. It does feel like a continuum of emotions and feelings. And because they're both rivers, I mean, this could be the sea, but I'm seeing this is like an extenuation of a river. You are moving forward. I want to point that out. you might feel like you're stuck in this loop of like constantly getting rejected, or like knowing that your mindset is getting in the way of relationships, and that maybe your pessimistic views are kind of pushing people away, something like that. But you are moving forward, you are growing. You're not in a loop, you're not in a cycle. There is growth here, and you are going to grow out of this situation. The Ten of Swords is confirmation that all of these issues and these thoughts and these problems are ending. Right? This is the death of an old self, right? Once the river reaches the ocean, it's the death of the old self. I do think what's interesting is we have these vultures, right, that are on this one. Well, there's one vulture in particular. There's another bird back here. I think it's another vulture. But there's these vultures sitting on the swords, looking at the dead body that has just been murdered. I do think just like someone who is in the desert and they're running out of water, and they are about to pass out, something like that. You do have these energies around you. And remember, this death of this person is not like the death of like their happiness or who they are. It's not like a death of good things. It's a death of all the darkness. It's a death of all the pessimism. It's a death of all the worries. It's a death of all the anxiety. It's a death of like how the mind tricks itself, essentially. There's this feeling that there's a feeling of freedom, or that part of yourself that dies, there's a feeling of being free from it, right? Now, the interesting thing with the vultures is you're going to start to have people who want to pick at that part of you. What this can mean is as soon as you're finding moments of enlightenment, as soon as you're finding moments of letting go of your anxiety, what's going on is that you're going to start to have people come and they're going to be asking you persistent questions about your healing process. Some of you might not be feeling that comfortable with that. I'm really noticing the Scorpio energy here. Maybe a lot of you are very private in general, but there is this period of the healing process. We also have the Gemini energy with the Ten of Swords. So it's giving me strong vibes of like being very private, but people really pushing you to talk about your healing journey and what you've really gone through, when maybe you guys want to revel in it yourselves, right? You might want to revel in it yourselves. Trust me, all this is going to get into your love life. I'm going to get to that point. I just want to bring up this point in time so if you know this is your reading, this is kind of the energy you're in right now, is kind of how I'm seeing it. Some of you could be in this energy, but I'm seeing most of you are all in this energy right now, of this kind of like a little bit of pessimism. Why don't things work out for me? Stuff like that. And honestly, no shame in thinking like that. I know we talk a lot about in the spiritual community, like, oh, you got to be positive or you can't complain, stuff like that. We all have phases where we're down on our luck. We all have phases where we think we're not going to get something, where we're worried we're not going to get something. We think it's never going to happen, stuff like that. But with the Ten of Swords here, this indicates a lot of those worries are going to be in the past pretty soon. You're on a river flowing downstream. And even though this is a river of lack, or this is a river of thinking you don't have enough, this journey that this river is pulling you through is going to lead to this elimination of this self that is so focused on lack. Now back to these vultures, right? The vultures are kind of circling the body, how do I put it? The body or the self that is going to die away, that is going to leave you feeling freer and more your like your true self. The vultures are circling that body. That you can think of this as kind of like your ego or your negative body, or we'll call it your thought body, right? Like the body that has all the anxiety and the worry and stuff like that. And so these vultures come around and they're like wondering if these anxieties you're going to talk about your healing journey, essentially. You know, they're wondering when the dead self is going to appear so they can eat at its carcass, right? So this can manifest in a few different ways. For some of you, this manifests as angels or healers, that when you are finally ready to let go of your old self, healers are approaching you, angels are approaching you, people who are representative of angelic forces, like angels that look like human beings telling you advice and telling you things that are really spectacular, could be representing themselves. Also, people wanting you to talk about your issues, people wanting you to talk about your healing journey. It could be people being like, wow, you look different, or something's going on with you, or you don't seem as stressed as you used to be. What's your secret? You know, people could be like asking questions like that, like, what's your secret? And you guys might think like, well, I don't really want to share my healing journey. Like, this is private. Like, I don't want to really share all my worries and anxieties. I don't really want to share that I'm overcoming them. But there's a noticeable difference in your appearance. There's a noticeable difference in how you're behaving, how you're interacting, because there's just a feeling of that you're very much a lighter person. You're lighter, you're freer. and people are noticing this, and they're actually more curious about why your darkness has disappeared. I think some people in your life are used to relying on the fact that you have this darker side to your nature, right? And they're not used to this kind of lightning effect of your personality. Now remember, these are things that are coming or you're going through right now. These are kind of the images that I'm getting of destined events that are happening right now. But yeah, let's get into the rest of the reading. Coming up soon, just for a little ahead of time, with Six of Cups, you're going to be feeling very nostalgic, childlike. This could be connecting with children in general. This can also be meeting someone, like if you do meet someone at this time, meeting someone that has a child, or meeting someone through your children's friend or something like that, and then you meet their parents and you guys hit it off, something like that. I'm going to get more into the Six of Cups. I'm being called to talk about your messages to change your fate, change your destiny, because we do have this energy right here of you may be like it's almost like an inevitability of you getting over this lack mindset, right? With the river flowing, it's literally just a matter of time. There's nothing you need to do about it. It's the river will flow to the ocean, and when the river flows into the ocean, there's going to be this release. There'll be this release of anxieties, a release of this lack mindset. There'll be a release of seeing the cups as half empty, right? There's a release of that, and there's kind of an awareness of being. It's interesting with the Five of Cups. You can always turn around and look at the two cups that are full, and you can be like, "Great, I have 2 cups of water. This is plenty of water for me for the rest of the day." Right, that's kind of the vibe that I'm seeing. And it's like, if you did turn, maybe you guys feel like this to some degree. It's like, if you did turn around and look at these cups of water, you're like, great, that's enough water for today, right? I'm looking at the 3 cups because then I would have had water for tomorrow as well. Now I'm actually only have 2 cups, so I only have water for today. And you guys are just kind of in this feeling of like, when it comes to relationships, it's like, this is not enough to sustain me. You guys might even have relationships that are coming in for a very short period of time, and then they leave, something like that. And you're not even trying to pay attention to these people anymore, because you're like, you're just going to leave anyway. But the point of this river analogy, right, that I'm bringing up is when this river flows to the ocean, it's like, instead of just 2 cups of water, there's an entire ocean of water, right? And so there's a feeling of so much plenty and abundance as far as the eye can see, that you're really going to be like engulfed in love, is kind of what I'm saying. And that's happening relatively soon. I see a lot of you in this transformation. That's happening relatively soon, actually. But with Angel of Sky and Take Reality Check, let's get into this. These are ways you can change your fate. With Angel of Sky, this is kind of a little foreboding to the ocean analogy. You can look into the sky as something that is vast and connects various different parts of our world. The sky kind of connects all of Earth. It's always above Earth. And no matter where you are on the planet, there's always a sky above you, right? You can think of this as kind of like a greater being or a greater energy in your life. And with Take a Reality Check, there is feelings of, how do I put this? It's coming through vaguely, but I'm just going to say what I'm thinking of. It's about getting grounding from the sky. So maybe looking at the sky and feeling grounded, maybe something about the sky. It could be like an airplane or travel through the sky. You need to get a reality check on something about travel. But overall, Take a Reality Check, full moon in Capricorn, means that like, with full moon here, it's the culmination, right? So it is talking about finishing projects. With Capricorn, it's an earth energy. So it does talk about practical stuff with finishing projects. And for some reason, I'm going to get more into the reading later, and we'll see how this plays out. But for this reading, this is how you will achieve love. This is how you can change your fate to achieve love, is by finishing projects, right? With the full moon in Capricorn, finishing projects. With Take a Reality Check here, it's all about knowing that like, if you leave every project unfinished, you will never complete anything, This could apply in relationships as well. There could be relationships where there's inconclusive closure is coming through. That there could be relationships with inconclusive closure where you or the other party ended things without there being a real reconciliation. I'm getting strong vibes of like someone ghosting someone, right? With Take a Reality Check, I want to get back to this completing project thing. This can talk about relationships in general because it's something about completing a relationship or completing the things that need to be said or letting someone finish saying what they need to be said before you bounce, right? That's kind of the vibe I'm seeing. But also with Take a Reality Check, you do have a lot coming for you inevitably in career. I know this is a love reading and it's a single AF reading, but you do have a lot coming for you in career, especially with the Capricorn energy, especially with the Six of Pentacles energy. The Hierophant energy pretty much points to you're going to be in kind of a management position or an authoritative position. Knight of Pentacles talks about the people under you being employers or employees under you, something like that. The Six of Pentacles also talks about you being benevolent. It talks about you getting help from people to move up in the world. And it talks about you gifting people with this kind of energy. The Five of Diamonds also talks about this. There's a lot of common themes in this section of the reading. It's coming through as very much like unanimous messages about you being in a position of power and other people needing that power in some way. So for example, oftentimes this can be like career fame, something like that, or a very public role with career, something like that. This can also be talent with career. You're very good at what you do. With finances, because career is often linked to finances and tarot with pentacles and diamonds and stuff like that. With finances, this can indicate that someone in the near future is going to be helping you get a leg up with financial situation. And after that point, you're going to know these secrets to finances where other people will be looking to you for advice. With Hierophant here, you will be teaching them like almost as like a career counselor is a possibility, or someone who's a counselor when it comes to making money, someone who helps other people make money, something like that. All I know is you're going into a position of high power, high authority. That is coming through very strongly with the Capricorn energy, the diamonds and the pentacles and the Hierophant, and the Knight of Pentacles representing the people. It's interesting. You're going to have loyal followers coming to you, but this is not like fame in like, this doesn't feel like love fame. This doesn't feel like fame because you're like beautiful. I'm not saying you guys aren't beautiful. It's just not fame from that. It's fame from some kind of career thing or some kind of like, there's a power dynamic here. And I don't see like, don't worry about the word use of power in a negative sense in this reading. I don't see you guys being the type of person, we see that with the Six of Pentacles, but I don't see you guys being the type of person who abuses power or is in dealing with some kind of dark power dynamic. But power is at play in the fact that you will have a lot of power in your career. You will have a lot of power financially. People will be depending on you in some way, shape, or form. Whether you are a business owner who is selling stuff to people and people need that product, there is something about dependence on you and you having what everybody wants. There is a feeling here with the career aspects. I'm going to get into the love aspect too, just so you know. I'm reading the inevitabilities of your path, and it does feel very career focused. That does not mean you can't have love. Definitely doesn't mean that. But this is definitely a reading where it's like you have a lot of career shit in your future, for sure. With the Six of Pentacles, this is a very beneficial, like giving kind of vibe, right? I don't think you'll take advantage of people. I think you'll always set fair prices. You know, you're very successful at what you do without compromising your values is kind of what I'm seeing. With the Hierophant here, this is a spiritual figure too. So I do think there is some kind of spiritual component to the creative or financially creative work that you do. You're attracting a lot with Knight of Pentacles, a lot of dedicated, loyal, like workers to your company. With Knight of Pentacles, this is strong indicators that you are going to have an amazing skill at vetting reliable employees. You're my group that never gets conned. Like you easily see like who's reliable, who's not reliable. You easily see who would make a good worker, who would not make a good worker. Very strong indications of leadership with this group, especially financially or career oriented. You will have a position of power. Usually that means money. I do see you guys making a lot of money or dealing with a lot of money, specifically as someone who people look up to, as someone who has really achieved wealth in some way. this is, you know, and it's interesting we have the Six of Pentacles here because some people in this position, and I think you guys are thinking about these types of people right now, actually, have this kind of vibe of like, oh, I made it here and let me show you how because you're all weak and below me, right? That can be what this Five of Diamonds talks about in some cases, but you have the Six of Pentacles here, indicating that you are very generous with your knowledge. You know that everyone's on a different level of growth. The Hierophant indicates a spiritual, compassionate side to this inevitability, right? And it just strongly feels, how do I put it? Like, it strongly feels like you're a benevolent leader and you're gonna have money doing it. That's kind of the vibe that I'm feeling. And the people who follow you, the people who work for you, the people who respect you, who look up to you, they're dedicated and they're loyal. I don't think you're gonna have anyone, this is not the vibe of like someone who starts a company and someone runs away with all the secrets of the company's information, starts their own business and takes over or whatever. You know, this is the vibe that like everyone who works for you like would never sell your secrets. They would never sell any of the information that you have with your particular group. This is some people who are very dedicated, people who are very loyal. That's kind of the vibe. Also, we have the double Taurus energy here. This is a very long lasting influence in your life. So don't expect this to be some kind of overnight sensation, right? This is not an overnight sensation. This is not you coming into a career and then in a month you're in a leadership position and you have all this money. This is something that's going to take a while as your life unfolds, right? But it's just pointing out, this reading is just pointing out that a lot of your life will be career dominated. Now, you can have a relationship. I want to point that out. We have this aspect in the reading here with the Six of Cups and these two cards here. But take a reality check is just saying, when you're in your life, right, you have to take a moment to realize, what is the reality of my situation? Where am I at? What is going on physically around me? You guys could be someone who gets in your head with worries, which is kind of what I'm seeing here, which goes away eventually, is kind of what I'm seeing, like naturally, once the river flows into this new oceanic kind of vibe. With Six of Cups, one message I was getting early in the reading is this could be someone from your past that comes in that you are connected to or that you find in a relationship with, or that ends up being the person that you love. Six of Cups can talk about like someone you were with as a very young child, something like that, like someone who you knew as a very young child, then like a long lost friend that went away or something like that, and you reunite with them, and that's the person you're in love with, something like that. But Six of Cups in general, as far as this transformation goes, indicates that there's a newfound sense of joy once you've released all of these anxieties, or this, you've released the thought self, or the you know, the thinking self, right? You've released the worried self. You know, there's a feeling of freshness and childlike innocence. This is kind of the time where you would most likely attract love, right? If you are ever going to attract love, it would be during this time. Now, I am seeing you keep this childlike sense into your career, but part of the career journey with the Six of Pentacles here is about growing up. It is about taking on adult responsibilities. It is about learning. Not that these will be overwhelming. Remember what I said about this career is it's a long process. The universe will give you what you can handle when you can handle it, but I do see a very career-focused future for you. You guys might have like really strong placements in the 10th house or even like the 6th house. Definitely something in the 2nd house because we got a lot of money here. Yeah, there's some kind of vibe with your career placements in your chart, something like that. But take a reality check is just saying that at any given time in your life, no matter where you're at, if you just focus on the reality of the situation, what is really truly in front of me. You know, sometimes you guys might not think you have options, right? Because you're thinking like, you know, I don't think there's any options here, blah, blah, blah. But if you just clear your mind in that moment and look at the physical, sensual reality around you, what is right in front of you? Oh, there's a man there, right? Oh, he's kind of attractive. That's an option. You could easily go up and talk to that person, right? You could ask that person out. You know, instead of being in your head thinking about these things, like I see there's this feeling to me of like getting grounded. I'm seeing you guys getting so grounded in the physical reality that you're so in the present moment that it's malleable to you. It's like with this career reading, that makes a lot of sense, is who you're growing into, you know? It's malleable and you can use it to your advantage. It's almost like a feeling of being like, what's it called? Like, how do I put it? like being thrown about in the wind by your circumstances, and then all of a sudden taking hold of your circumstances and being like, no, I control my reality, I control what's going on around me, like I see it, I feel it, and I can use it. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting with this full moon in Capricorn. Take a reality check. Angel of the Sky is talking about like having your heads in the clouds and kind of like, in some regards, being a daydreamer. But I do see you getting more grounded as life goes on. A lot of you probably have, like, the vibe I'm getting is, this doesn't have to be an actual placement, but it's very much giving like South Node in a water sign and then like North Node in an earth sign, something like that. Or some kind of situation where you have to transfer one energy from one part of your chart to the opposite part of your chart. And it's going to go from one area of like stress and anxiety to like abundance and career opportunities and growth, and pragmatism is kind of what I'm seeing. Because it's raining outside and we have Angel of the Sky, I do think you'll be getting signs from like the heavens, essentially. So anything that comes from the sky, like lightning, rain, snow, hail, cloudy days, sunshine peeking through clouds. There's this thing that I do when I'm researching and when I'm looking into things that I need answers on and stuff like that. I really look into when the shade from the clouds or the sun peeks out from the clouds on one of those days where it's like half cloudy, half sunny. And I kind of let the light fluctuations influence thoughts that I'm having and just go with it for a little bit as like an exercise. Maybe some of you aren't into like seeing too many signs or you're trying to move away from that. But overall, I just, you can work with the sky's energies. I'm seeing working with the sky is important. I'm also seeing with travel, even though I mentioned there was something that could have been problematic with travel, with take a reality check, and that it's possible you could have some kind of issue with travel. Be real with travel plans. Like at the time when you can afford it, that's when you should travel, that kind of thing. But I am seeing possibly something that could be that pivotal moment that could change your fate is if you had to meet someone from the past or someone from the past invites you somewhere, but you have to take a plane ride or you have to travel to get there. This plane ride could be the make or break of a kind of new connection that could cause a strong love in the future. It's giving me like ninth house vibes, like love affecting by the ninth house. You guys might have Venus in the ninth house. That's a placement that I actually have. But I'm trying to think of other ninth house placements. This would be so wild if I just read a message for myself. That'd be so wild. I meet someone when I travel to see them. But that's the message I was getting. Venus in the ninth house. Yeah, I really think you'll be getting downloads. I think when you open up to receiving downloads, it will help with your situation, with the love situation. I do think that no matter what, you can realize that we're all under the same sky, right? Like we're all humans on Earth. We're all under the same sky. The sky encompasses everything. No matter where you are on the planet Earth, you're just a human on Earth, right? I think bringing it down to this basic perception, instead of being like, oh, there's no one here, or I have to travel there, or something like that. Like with the whole sky being involved, it's like anyone under the sky could be a potential mate. It doesn't really matter where on Earth you are, because the sky's energies are all around us. There's this feeling of being kind of like connected. It's hard to give this reading, I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like a lot of you have really advanced Piscean placements. So there's a really advanced feeling of like Neptunian energy, or that's what I'm getting from your past. It's like this feeling of like, your reading's coming through kind of foggy. I'll be honest. It's coming through kind of foggy, especially with this Angel of the Sky card. It's giving me vibes of like no real answer in this tarot reading. Or there's a feeling of like, maybe you guys feel like this with like how you control your destiny or things you can do to actually do things in your life. It feels like there's no real answer. For a lot of you, this feels very much like you are already the type that believes that the universe has what's best for you anyway, and you're not even going to take action. Like even if I tell you to take action or give you advice to like improve your love life, like you guys are my types that like really just surrender anyway. You're like, there's no point in planning. There's no point in putting effort forward. Like things are just going to happen how they're going to happen. That's kind of the vibe I got for a lot of you. If you guys don't feel like that right now, I think you might end up feeling like that a little bit. With Take a Reality Check, there is a strong vibe of like, how do I put this? Like seeing what's going on around you and realizing that's the proof is in the pudding, right? Like the proof is in the reality around you. You might notice people, circumstances, situations rail against their reality, try to change something, and then realize, oh, I didn't change anything, right? Or, oh, nothing happened to me in this situation, even though I tried as hard as I could, right? So there is this feeling of coming from an area where you guys are coming from this area of acceptance, or you're coming from this area of like blendedness. It's very like foggy, this reading, especially in this beginning part. The sky card is making me think of fog, like fog in the sky, or like not being able to see clearly, stuff like that. But with full moon in Capricorn, this is the full moon. It means that like with the reality check, going back to the completed projects thing, it does mean finishing what you start. So even though you feel like there's things that are not worth trying at, it still means finishing what you start. There might be a feeling that you really do need to complete these projects in order to move forward in life, specifically in love. It's interesting because I do see career success for you. Even if you don't complete projects in your career, there's definitely, with the Knight of Pentacles energy here, people who will come in to complete them for you. So it's not really coming through in a career sense. It's not really coming through in the sense of your power and your charisma that you're going to develop, right? It's coming through in the sense of love. It's coming through in the sense of, what did someone need that you didn't give them for closure? That kind of thing. So a lot of this with Six of Cups, something that's going to bring in love, that is something you can actually do, is reaching out to old relationships and providing that closure. You guys might be my group with that intuition and stuff. You might know exactly what to say to people. You might not want to because of pride or whatnot, or I don't know what reason it would be that you wouldn't reach out. But there's a feeling that other people would be very happy if you brought them closure. Take a reality check. Also, I mean, I really doubt you guys are struggling with closure from another relationship. You could be, but this is coming through as like you guys giving closure to people who needed closure, right? Who didn't know why you left, didn't know why you ran up and left and just disappeared, right? It's a retrospective kind of energy that brings in new love or brings in a relationship. You know, I think there's a feeling of lightening your heart when you provide other people closure, and that actually moves your path forward. I definitely think with that, your business will start taking off. I know it's not related to love, but your business will definitely start taking off. Your career will jumpstart. Maybe a lot of you who chose this reading too, like something you secretly want more than love is like your own career or your own legacy, something like that. You want to leave a mark. I really feel with this group, there's a feeling of wanting to leave a mark. There's a feeling of wanting to be someone that's important or someone that wants to affect change. Specifically with Six of Pentacles, someone who wants to care for others or give to others or provide kind of like a place of, it's very much giving the vibe of like someone who wants to provide like a lifestyle for others, right? So, if like, for example, like this could go from like a religious figure who provides like scriptures to their group or like provides ways of living to their group. That would be the most, spiritual sense. But I'm also, for some reason, I'm getting makeup. I'm getting like makeup mogul, something like that, where you provide a lifestyle in like art or aesthetic or clothing or something like that. And there's this feeling of providing kind of like an aesthetic with fashion that people really absorb into this lifestyle. I do think for some of you, you will be creators in art or creators in design, something along the lines of like, I set the standards in fashion, or I set the standards in this community. Now, without the art and spiritual influence, this can also just be finances. Like I set the standard for how people save their money. I'm the one inventing the new way to like put this into savings and take this out of savings. This can really be in anything. This can even be in sports. It's just very much career and finance focused. Like people are going to prize your method of doing things and follow you. It's a follow the leader kind of vibe, right? So you're kind of a paragon. You're setting an example for others, and you are creating a lifestyle that others want to emulate. That's kind of the vibe that I'm seeing for your future. Now, as far as love goes, tying up loose ends, that could bring in a partner. It's like sometimes when we deal with certain love karma, whether that's in our own mind or like shadow work or whatever, if someone like affected us and we need to deal with that before we open up to love. Whatever the case may be, sometimes processing that stuff actually brings love into our lives. So for example, maybe there's someone you're not in contact with, right? And maybe you're thinking in your head while watching this reading, like, there's no one that needed closure from me, right? I felt like everyone got closure. Think about it in a way where, I'm almost getting take a reality check. Like, look at the reality of the situation to see who needs closure. Like, what really happened? What did they really say? What did they really do? Because it's almost like if you guys weren't paying attention to the reality at the time, they could have said something that indicated that they needed closure. Very straightforward. I'm seeing it very straightforward. Like, for most of you, if you really looked at the reality of the situation, it would be very obvious who needed closure and who didn't. And I'm also hearing, if you can't reach out to them, do it in your mind. We can transmit thoughts to other people over great distances. We can transmit energies. We can read energies over great distances. I don't know how it works. I know as a tarot reader, I can do this. I have online clients all the time and I read for them and they live in like Florida or Colorado or whatever. And I'm just instantly reading their energy, right? And I can just do it in seconds, right? So whatever you do, you can sit in meditation, you can say words to them, you can project your energy to them. Just think of them and project that sense of closure to them. And you can psychically give them this closure, right? And when you do that for yourself, it's almost like a way of like, I don't know if you guys have ever done a forgiveness meditation where you're forgiving someone for what they did to you. It kind of brings closure for you in that regard. You're actually kind of doing the reverse for them. Like, you're sending them the closure and it should be affecting them. Now, it may not, but the point is that you did it. Even if you couldn't reach out, you made the attempt to do it. And I know sometimes psychically, that's like kind of like a last ditch attempt, if you think about it, compared to like calling someone up and doing it in person. But like, if that's all you can do, that's all you can do, you know? And maybe that's for a lot of you. Maybe there's a lot of people in your past that you felt like, you know, they didn't get the closure and you feel bad about that you didn't give them that closure. Psychically send it to them. Definitely. With the sky and everything being connected right above the 6 of Cups, that's another strong indicator that your wishes will get to them. Your messages will get to them. You will give them that closure they need. For a lot of you, you are major ghosters. You have a hard time with confrontation. You have a hard time with telling someone that they're not right for you. Right? That there's something that you don't like about them that wouldn't work for you. To you, I feel like a lot of you just cringe at that. That's why psychically, this is a great way to work with it. They're not going to be able to read your energy psychically. It's just going to give them an overwhelming sense of peace about the connection. They might see something, read something they see on the TV that triggers this, and they will have that epiphany and it will bring them that closure they need about this connection. So psychically sending it to them is, and I didn't realize this angel of the sky was above here, right? Because I'm seeing this kind of clouded version with this card, like affecting the rest of the reading. But with this energy here, it's definitely, you could send them psychic energy to complete that closure. Let's see if I see anything else. I want to take a moment to look at some other stuff. Yeah, the main thing, like, as far as like an ask, because some of you are like, well, I want something to do to like affect my love life. I am seeing with Angel of the Skies, the psychic sending the messages, like I mentioned, but with full moon and Capricorn, completing projects with love. Yeah, it's really like, it's just one cohesive message of like, give people the closure that they need, and the universe will reward you with good relationships, right? So you guys are my group that like, even because I know I mentioned at the beginning, people being single for a really long time. If you're even in that camp and you're watching this reading, there's definitely some people that didn't get closure. And it doesn't have to be relationships. It can be friendships. It can be people who came into your life that were significant, that were friends for a short time, and you never told them why you left. You never told them why you were gone, right? And especially for those of you that cringe at hurting someone's feelings and telling something to them that's like hurtful or whatnot, and you just really don't know how to say it, psychically send that shit. Just send it out. Give them that peace of mind psychically, and they should feel it. You guys do have gifts in that department, especially once you hit this ocean, right? Once you hit this ocean, any time the water element is in the ocean, you're extremely connected to others psychically, right? With the river here, it's like you're heading there. But when you get to the ocean, when the old thought self is dead, and you know the vultures are trying to figure out how you healed and you don't want to tell them. There's this feeling at being at the ocean of like, wow, now I'm like fully connected. You know, I'm fully connected and I can like know these certain things. You know, there's a feeling of almost knowing with the Ten of Swords here and the Six of Cups, knowing who you need to give closure to. You know, it's going to hit you all suddenly out of the blue. And take a reality check also just means look at the reality around you. You will be able to manipulate that reality around you. And that's kind of what starts your career process, right? I think a lot of you do take that kind of backseat and see that life just kind of happens to you. But there is this feeling of a blend of both, right? I'm getting that strongly because earlier in the reading, I felt like you could take this like effect of your environment where you create changes once you see that everything can be manipulated. But at the same time, there is this fatalistic aspect to a lot of you guys. And you might go back and forth between the both. It's interesting you chose this reading because I'm using both in this reading. I'm hearing sirens in the background, and I just feel like some of you have been in some dark places when it comes to your life. Especially when it comes to fate versus free will. There is a feeling here of, I think for some of you, you've tried to work with free will, or you've tried to be the type of person who just creates your reality, and sometimes it backfires on you. And I feel for you guys. But almost a lot of that just feels like the baggage you're carrying around before you reach this ocean, this pivotal ocean point, you know? It does feel like a different chapter, right? It feels like the chapter you're in right now is very fated. You just have to go with the flow. You just have to let events unfold because you know you're flowing down the river. The sky's involved. It's very Neptunian, that kind of vibe. But then all of a sudden it like switches and you're like pragmatic focused and you're taking control of your reality and you are doing the most with your career and you are making things happen for people. And there's this total shift in perspective. It gives me the feeling that you guys are going to go through a transformation. Yeah, and I do think if the love is going to happen, it's going to come before these career shifts, right? The other possibility, you could date one of your coworkers. Not seeing that so much actually in this particular reading, but I am seeing you helping a lot of people, right? With the Hierophant and these two people, this person, these two people, there's strong vibes that you could even be someone who brings people together in a loving way, something like that. Could also be that someone brings you to like a third party brings you together with someone else, something like that, as far as like how you actually find love eventually. Yeah, complete that relationship karma is all I have to say, because when you complete that relationship karma, the universe will give you things that are more long-lasting, more durable, more committed, is kind of what I'm saying. So I'm going to end your guys' reading there. Thank you for letting me read for you today. It was an honor and a pleasure, and I'm very happy you were here with me and you stayed till the end. If you want to help out the channel and you feel like supporting and helping this channel grow, you can like or comment below. With that said, I'm going to bid you guys adieu. Thank you again for being here with me today, and I will see you guys in the next Pick a Card. Bye. Hey, group 3, this is if you picked the Sunset Sodalite. So let's get into your reading. I'm going to start by pulling an Angelarium card. Let's see. These Oracle cards are going to represent the choices you can make. Or what you can do to kind of speed up your situation when it comes to love in general and being single, if you're looking for someone. And then we're going to pull a playing card, which is kind of a little bit of an integration between both what you can do to speed it up and then the inevitabilities that will happen. So let's get a playing card for you guys, and we have the Six of Clubs. And now we'll pull your tarot cards, which are kind of the events that will most likely happen. With these energies, there'll be ways you can alter the general outcome of these events, but they're overall just the inevitabilities of what's coming for you when it comes to love and you being single right now. Okay, give me a second to look over your reading and then I will get into it. I do want to point out right now that there is a dove hooting in the background. Could be that dove energy. Also, doves to me sound like owls too. So I kind of see doves as like the daytime version of like an owl, at least like as like a spiritual meaning, or as far as signs go, it's like a dove is kind of like your lighter daylight version of an owl, something like that. And I am filming this in the daytime. So if doves are significant to you, that is a sign that this could be your reading. Maybe that plays into later in the reading. We'll see. I'm still looking over your reading though right now, so I'll get into it in 1 second. Okay, let's get into your reading. I'm seeing some things right off the bat. I might have to take a few seconds to look at this again as I get into this reading to figure out some more aspects. But let's get into it. So first I want to start with a little bit of the inevitabilities coming in for you. There is a feeling of deep rest and relaxation in your life currently, almost like a contentment that you are finding really easy to kind of settle into. I feel like overall you guys have kind of like a very relaxed nature. Those of you who picked this group, there's a feeling of feeling very relaxed, being very relaxed, having kind of like a calm, laid back kind of attitude about life. I do see you guys resting a lot in this current phase of your life. So you might be, if you're watching this reading right now, and obviously you're single if you're watching this, but there is a feeling of recovery. There's a feeling of recovering, and this can actually include physical rest. Like I see you guys kind of sleeping a lot right now, or sleeping longer than usual per night, something like that. Especially if you work or if you have some kind of job, I do see you guys sleeping more in general. So it would be the feeling of like getting home from work and not being able to do anything in the evening or do any kind of other activity in the evening because you're so tired. You just need to get to bed right away and you're just able to wake up the next day for work. And then I see on the weekends just lots of relaxing, watching TV, eating snacks, stuff like that, like really laid back, kind of like deep rest stuff. Four Swords at its highest potential spiritually indicates meditation. Specifically lying meditation. So like not lying as in not telling the truth, but which, you know, maybe honesty is a factor in your meditation anyway, now that I thought of that, but lying down, lying on a bed. It's not necessarily sitting upright, and it can be lying on a bed, putting yourself on a bed and doing a meditation. You might even meditate before sleep. That could be something that's beneficial for you right now to achieve a higher spiritual understanding. But like I'm saying, this reading is not about spiritual stuff. It's about love. So this is just an indicator that right now there's this period of rest for you. This is how you're going to know if this is your reading. The other indicator that I'm seeing, and for some of you, this other indicator is an actual person you were married to for a while. And then you were single for a long time after you divorced them or after you guys split, something like that. The other aspect this person could be is an archetype that comes into your life every so often. But with this woman's like intense face that I'm seeing and her fiery wand, this is my Queen of Wands in particular in this deck represents something a little bit different than Queen of Wands energy usually does, just because of her face, how her face looks. I do see you had some kind of spouse. I'm going to refer to this person as a spouse, but for those of you who this is an archetype of a person, just keep that in mind. You've had relationships or a particular spouse who was kind of aggressive. This person was inconsistent in how they showed up in the relationship. And they were inconsistent in their moods. One day they would be bright and sunny, they'd be positive, everything was fine. And the next day they'd be withdrawn, mysterious. And if you tried to approach them to get them out of this withdrawn mood, they would attack is a strong word, but they would be feisty with you. They would kind of be like, why are you talking to me? Or like, back off. Or there's this feeling that they're very defensive when they want to be alone. But this was very inconsistent for you guys. And I see that this was very difficult to handle, or these relationships with these people are very difficult to handle. Now, for some of you, these might not show up as relationships, but specific important people in your life. A rare few of you, it's going to be a family member, because this is really showing up more as like a marriage, like a prior marriage. And this was the partner in the prior marriage. That's kind of what's showing up mostly. But for others of you, this can just be a symbol of someone who you see all the time, something like that, or someone who comes into your life and kind of is pretty consistent for a while. For most of you, this was your past romantic partner or your past marriage partner. This person on one hand felt very like family oriented. Like this person also felt like comfortable, but this kind of inconsistency in behavior and moods was very shocking to you guys, is what I'm seeing. And it led to this separation. Now, a 10 of Cups here, I do see that family values are really important to you. And if you're in a relationship, you want someone who can accept your family. A lot of you have kids already, and a lot of you are just single with some kids, something like that. But a lot of you want someone who has family values. You want someone who's going to be that kind of parental figure to your children, either like very fatherly or motherly, something like that. A lot of you are looking for that kind of relationship. You're not really looking for like whirlwind romance and like trips to Rome or whatever, which, maybe that's included, who knows. But you're really looking for that kind of stability. Like you're looking for kind of like security is kind of what I'm seeing, and specifically emotional security. I don't see any pentacles in your reading, so maybe you guys are doing fine financially, but I am seeing like emotional security. Like I think this last partner, because of their inconsistency, there was an emotional instability in the family unit. There was an emotional instability in the family dynamic. And so, how do I put this? There was this feeling, there was just emotional instability and it was uncomfortable. I'll just say that. And with your family now, you're finding a little bit more stability, but you're looking for someone who can actually help stabilize the family. It was a little too dynamic. The fluctuations in mood, the fluctuations in family dynamics were a little too dynamic. Now that this person is gone and out of your life, your children are a little bit happier, there's a feeling of joy and something like that. I do see that you'll most likely meet someone soon, because this is a card about marriage and it's coming up in this kind of recent energy. So it could be that you meet someone soon in general. Let's see how you could actually work on meeting that person soon with right eye wisdom and step into your power. I think that this is an important feeling for you guys to have. I think, first of all, you're going to have an opportunity with Six of Clubs here to pursue some kind of knowledge or education or something like that. There's this kind of opportunity presenting itself to explore some specific topic that will help you grow intellectually. I think after this relationship has been over, you've been being presented with these topics. Like currently, you probably have a few different options to learn a new skill, to go back to school, to educate yourself on something specific. I don't know why you guys are putting it off, or if you are putting it off, maybe you guys already are in this energy, but the cards are urging you that this knowledge is going to give you wisdom. It's not just going to teach you like book smarts. It's going to give you street smarts as well. This could be like a course, for example, on like psychology or like philosophy, something that gives you a higher understanding of life in general, not just kind of like book stuff, right? And we see that again here with wisdom, with the right eye, chakma. The cool thing about this is you have an angel with you that is blessing you with wisdom at this time, especially after this connection with this previous person. Now remember, this doesn't, for those of you, this is not a spouse. This is just a type of person that enters your life and disrupts your emotional stability, right? And you've probably met a few of them. It seems like a repeating pattern. But with right eye wisdom here, right now you're being given the information and the wisdom to know about why these relationships came into your life. You are understanding why they had to happen, and you're actually understanding the dynamics of why you're attracted to this type of person. So wisdom in of itself is something that you guys will be getting in general, because you do have this kind of angelic force who's pumping this wisdom into your body, into your mind even. But I said body first, and maybe that's a sign. Maybe you guys do feel your wisdom in your body, like in your gut instincts. Like maybe something just doesn't feel right to you. And the word feel really means something, because maybe you all are experiencing things in your body. Like maybe you hang out with someone and they make your stomach queasy, something like that. And you know that's probably not a good person. Or maybe you hang out with someone and your heart starts racing and you get like really crazy adrenaline around someone. And so you guys are the types that kind of can pay attention to the sensations in your body, is what I'm seeing or what I'm feeling. Also, And that kind of is translating to the mind. I mean, I think you guys have a lot of wisdom when it comes to even your body in itself. You have a lot of wisdom when it comes to that. Anyway, you are being presented with opportunities for learning and education. I think this is a key component into meeting someone, right? Especially with step into your power. If there is something where you feel like you have a natural talent in that area, or you feel like you have a proclivity for something, but you just need a little bit more education to refine it, that could be something that is what you should step into at this time. A good example of this, I'm going to use an example in my own life. I am a part of an improv group, or there's a school in my hometown, and it's like an improv school, and they teach classes and stuff like that. This would be something where if I met someone out publicly without, them being in the improv yet, I would say like, oh my gosh, like you said that funny joke to me. You were so quick with it. It's so funny you riffed with me there. How about you do this improv thing? You could really build up your skills. Something like that. That would be the opportunity that would be coming to you guys. It's almost like something that you're already talented at a little bit, or people are telling you like, this is the group where it's like, maybe you sing. Like maybe you're a singer and people are like, wow, you're so talented. You really should do something with that. You should start singing professionally, or you should take a class in singing or really refine that skill. This is the feeling that people have acknowledged this talent in you before. People have acknowledged this talent in you before. And it's at this point where the universe is kind of pushing you. Not really pushing you. The universe is not pushing you in this instance. The universe does push people into things. Like in that way, the universe, what they'll do is they'll like either take away something or throw something inevitable in that person's path that they have to deal with. And that's kind of a big push. The universe is presenting you with opportunities. This is kind of like it's like you've fallen down and someone's standing above you and they're reaching their hand out for you to grab onto so they can help lift you up, right? Now you could easily just get up yourself, right? But right now the universe is offering you all these opportunities to expand. That is how you're going to know this is your group. And it might feel a little difficult because right now I feel like you guys feel like you are feeling a little tired. You're feeling a little unmotivated. You're feeling very relaxed currently. And so maybe it feels a little stressful to kind of get out of that and accept some opportunities, right? And remember, I think these opportunities, not only are these opportunities going to continue to be presented, it's just the beginning. And the cards are I'm being told, like, how do I put this? That you will have the motivation to accept these opportunities. But that is something that you might need to will yourself into doing. I also see for some of you, you might have to will yourself out of this energy of rest and kind of get motivated and have to self-start that a little bit. You just need that kind of kick in the butt. But for some of you, just knowing that there's a new chapter and that this will help you find love could motivate you into stepping into your own power with whatever talent that you have, whatever talent you possess. That could be the key to jumping onto something or accepting some kind of opportunity. I do see that this opportunity, like I mentioned with wisdom earlier, I'm going to reiterate it, but this opportunity, whatever this educational opportunity is and some talent that you possess, and you're going to learn more about it, right? That is presenting itself to you. With wisdom here, you will learn more than just that skill and talent. You will be learning a lot about life through that skill and talent. Because the cool thing about your situation is something that you're already good at, working on that and refining it. The universe sees that as like you refining your best self. It's like you're refining your best self. You're working on yourself. You're working on your personality is kind of what I'm seeing. You're working on who you are as an individual. The cool thing about this is that expands your ability to see yourself clearly, therefore knowing who you are, therefore knowing what type of person would be the best for you in a relationship. It's possible a lot of the situations with these types of people in the past, or attractions to these types of people, comes from not knowing what your own needs are in a connection, right? So for a lot of you, you might not even know what you need in a relationship, or on the flip side, you might think you want something in a relationship just to find out that's not what you want, just to kind of glam onto some other idea or ideal of like what a relationship should be and then try to pursue that. that not work out. Or on another option that you could be going through is like being attracted to the types of people that are not attracted to you, that are not reciprocal attractions, because you don't know what you're actually looking for on a psychological level, right? So with stepping into your power, you're not only stepping into your own power as an individual, your own sense of vitality, because Aries is a very vital, fiery sign, right? Stepping into these opportunities will actually increase your energy. That's why I think maybe why this is coming through is something that you have to do that's not just the inevitable thing. Something that you have to do is step outside this kind of relaxed comfort, this kind of feeling of being sleepy all the time or just deep relaxation, and stepping into a more action-oriented energy. I think the vibe I'm getting is Neptune moving into Aries soon. And a lot of things might happen when Neptune moves into Aries for you. I can see that, or when some planet moves into Aries. I think also we have Saturn. If Saturn moves into Aries, whenever that happens, you might be experiencing some of these changes or might feel a little motivated to get out of this kind of relaxed feeling. But this wisdom is going to come from knowing yourself and growing yourself and developing yourself. And the universe sees that the things you're already given, like the things that you're already good at, these talents, these things that are natural born gifts, when you start working on those, refining those, and making those better, the universe is going to see that you appreciate the best sides of yourself, right? And it's going to actually amplify your understanding of your best side and what you can offer in a relationship. And that's really where this transformation occurs if you choose to take it. Remember, these are things that you have to choose to do. It's not something that just is going to happen. It's things that you have to step into, right? So you are being given this opportunity to take an educational journey or develop your talents and learn more about yourself. These cards right here are kind of coming through in different ways depending on how you utilize that choice in these cards right here. So Eight of Swords does talk about feeling trapped within yourself. It also talks about not being able to express affection, kind of not being able to touch or express love in your environment because your hands are bound. It also indicates with the blindfold not being able to see clearly, right? Like not knowing who you can trust is kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. And like we mentioned, that already was reiterated when I talked about what you can step into, or what you can choose to step into in this reading. But with Eight of Swords here, you could be stuck in this mindset for a prolonged period of time until you accept one of these opportunities or until you take a moment to refine and work on some kind of talent that you already have. The energy here is focus on the best parts of yourself, or the parts of yourself that are the most viewed as, how do I put it? Like, it's other people viewing them as good. It's like other people are really acknowledging these talents in you, and it's a sign that this is something that you could grow and develop. With Eight of Swords here, the cool thing about this card being represented is this like dual nature, is that if you do take on this opportunity, this represents the next period or the next upcoming period of your life, being able to be more touchy, being able to notice people more, being able to express your love freely and more, right? People may think inadvertently that you might be emotionally unavailable, but that's a term I don't want to use because it can be misconstrued. The feeling that I'm getting is that people don't see you as an option because there's never any kind of affection flowing from you into them, because it's like you're not seeing them clearly, so they don't really see how you're expressing love to them. So this it opens up your eyes to kind of see who you're dealing with more clearly, and also how to express that love to each person more clearly, which opens up kind of channels of love between you and others. Now with Two of Wands and the Hermit, I do see this very strong energy of an isolating effect later in life. Now, the option is this isolating effect can be with another person, or it can just be you being alone, right? With this wisdom energy here, I do see you gaining wisdom eventually with the Hermit card. But because he's an old man, it's one of those things where you don't want this to be a too late, like a too bad, it was too late, that kind of thing. I do think that when you gain this wisdom about yourself, open up this ability to love more, This hermit energy is just represented as pure wisdom at the end of your life. I think you guys will know a lot at the end of your life. I also think with the two wands and the hermit combined here, these are both very introverted energies. I do see you kind of introverting yourself in the later years of your life. I do see you kind of staying at home more, kind of maybe dreaming or thinking about world events, but from the comfort of your own home, something like that. You might just kind of isolate in a sense where you might go on a lot of trips in the middle of nature, something like that. Or when you're at home, you might think about things, or this is also very strong vibes of most of your social life could be online or through the internet later in life. But the beautiful thing here too is like, if you are stepping into this energy and you're feeling more expressive, this home life I'm seeing is represented as you and like another person, right? Like you and another person spending time at home, like you and another person being homebodies together, you and another person really indulging in like movie nights. It almost feels like this energy here, but you have someone with you, right? You have that kind of relaxed Four of Swords energy, but you have another person with you. It can also be, if you guys have children, I know I saw that for some of you earlier, planning like the future for your children, right? And also with the world here, it's like your children could go on a lot of trips, but maybe you and your spouse don't go with them. Like when the children come of age, to whatever age you feel comfortable letting them exploring, it feels like they're exploring the world and they come back and tell you about their stories, something like that. It also feels like you and your partner are gonna live to a very old age. This is the group that, like, if you learn more about yourself and what your strengths are and what makes you, how do I put it? It's what makes you unique, or it's what makes you strong. It's what makes you powerful. Learning all these things about yourself, instead of just focusing on relationships in general and like why you don't have one, it's like focusing on the self and knowing what you can bring to the table can help you figure out what type of person is most compatible with you. Now, Two of Wands and Hermit, back to this example, I just see like you guys being home and then like the kids visiting for holidays with their prospective families, or the kids they have, you guys as grandparents, something like that. There is strong family energy here. And I do see with, as you, if you are grandparents, I do see you dispensing a lot of this wisdom to your kids, so they don't have to make the same mistakes that you did. There is this feeling that the grandkids are going to benefit the most from your wisdom. It's like you have a way with children when you're older, something like that. I think this is the solar plexus chakra. It might be the sacral chakra, but I am reading it as the solar plexus chakra. And it's reminding me to get in touch with your willpower. That could be something that helps in general. With the Ten of Cups here, it's almost a guarantee that you will meet someone or you will get into a relationship with someone soon. I do think that it's possible you meet someone through pursuing a certain talent or skill. That is always a possibility. It's the vibe of like getting really into your talent or skill and meeting someone who's like someone who could help you along in that field, like someone who helps you in a specific situation, or someone who works with you or provides a talent that is complementary to your talent. You guys create stuff together or something like that. There are opportunities being presented to you right now, and you guys are just feeling like you don't have the energy to take them. That's kind of the thing that I'm seeing right now in your life. And the truth is, if you just step into the opportunity, the energy will come. It's like, especially if this is a pre-existing talent you have. Like, for example, maybe your talent is writing and you join like a writer's club, and it's like every week you have to write a short story and bring it back to the class, something like that. And you guys read your short stories aloud and there's an instructor that corrects them, something like that. This is the kind of reading where it's saying that even if you don't feel like writing right now, even if you don't feel like doing it right now, getting into that classroom setting, that educational setting, getting your work seen by others, or refining your work with even like more learning, can bring you the wisdom you need to see yourself as well. It's like you're learning these facts and this knowledge, but going along with it is understanding yourself. This whole journey of taking this new opportunity is to understand yourself. And once you understand yourself, once you have the wisdom to know who you are, your strengths, your identity, you can kind of see from that point forward why these people were no good for you And you can also see how you can bring that personality to the world and connect with others. I am seeing strongly knowing who you are and then knowing what you can bring in a relationship, right? And therefore, when other people talk to you about their needs, like say you go on a date with someone and they're saying, oh, I want someone who is this, this, and this. That's what I'm looking for right now. Because people are always looking for something outside themselves, to help complete them. And in a way, when we're in a relationship, that can often be the case that two people's different strengths can complement each other, right? But the vibe is it's like knowing what you bring to the table. Maybe before when people asked you, I'm looking for this, this, and this, you wouldn't have been able to know if you could provide that because you lacked a sense of like either identity or your own power or like your own feeling and belief in yourself, something like that, where you kind of were like confused. You were like, well, maybe I bring that, maybe I don't, And so there's this feeling of not knowing what you can bring to others. But with this energy shift and working on this specific talent, there's an energy of stepping more fully into your affection, being able to connect more fully with others because you are going to know what you provide. So for example, if other people have needs, which everybody has needs, right? Everyone has needs in a relationship and what they want and all that good stuff. You have needs too of what you want, but you might not even be aware of your own needs at this time as well. But once you step into your power, you're going to start to be aware of your strengths, your needs, what you are compatible with, all based on a sense of wisdom, which is understanding. It's the form of knowledge that doesn't come from reading books or educating yourself, although yours works, you're gaining wisdom side by side with refining a skill, with educating yourself. They're paralleling each other, not usually the case with people. Usually people have to take their knowledge that they learned and have experience in life. Like knowledge plus experience equals wisdom, essentially. Wisdom usually comes from life experience, and it comes from a sense of understanding things rather than just knowing things. I think I'm going to end your reading there. One message coming through for those of you who are worried about this, with this Queen of Wands person is representative as your ex or the person you used to be married to. There is a feeling that the family will still be happy and content, even if this person is like still in your life, like say they have half the custody of the kids, something like that. Even if this person is still in your life, your family will still be content, especially with this new partner. It doesn't feel like it's disrupting the kids' lives that much. I'm just going to be honest. That's just another random message that came to me right now. Anyway, I was very happy to get you guys these messages. I hope it resonated in some way, shape, or form. Thank you again for watching, and I will catch you in the next Pick a Card. Bye. Hey, Group 4, this is if you picked the Lithium Quartz. So real quick, before we get into your reading, there is a spirit animal book that I am feeling called to kind of pick an animal at random for you guys and read the passage just before we get into your reading. If you want to skip this part and just get into the reading, you can skip to after I lay out all the cards and all that kind of stuff to get into the gist of your reading. But this is just a side message that I felt really called to do for your pile today. So let's see, you have Puffin. It says, action speaks louder than words. So pay closer attention to what you and others are conveying through your body language and vocal characteristics, more so than the spoken word. This could be an indication that maybe you're paying attention too much to what people are saying to you when it comes to love and not enough attention to what their bodies are saying. Like, is their body language look closed off to you? Does it look like they're trying to escape, or they're looking over your shoulder, looking at someone else, trying to like get away when you're talking to someone, something like that? The key is to pay attention to body language and also actions. What do people say and do? Are they texting you back? Are they not? That's an action, right? Not necessarily what the words are in the text, but what is their actions and body language conveying? It says, make it a point to pray every day for at least a few minutes, focusing on prayers of gratitude more so than those of supplication requests. Yeah, this just could mean being thankful for the love that you already have. Could be something that could bring in love to you right now. It says, it's better at this time to contain your true feelings rather than express them. That's an interesting one. I would say just be careful of what you share with people right off the bat, especially if the feeling is too disruptive to like their state of being. It might push people away. It says, look ahead and do your best to anticipate what's down the road before you make your move. That means just kind of, where's this relationship going to go? How is this person going to behave in the future? All these things could be very beneficial for you moving forward in love. It also says, do your best to avoid fights and conflicts as much as you can, as there wouldn't be any winners anyway if it were to come to that. That just means like be diplomatic when it comes to relationships. Like maybe you guys have lost a few people, possible partners because of conflict, something like that. And it says lighten up and inject a healthy dose of fun and humor into your spiritual path. So that can also just be in general, like having fun and remembering not to take things so seriously. So a lot of tips to remember from that spirit animal. But if you want some help to integrate that without having to remember every single point that was said in that little book, you can easily just imagine a puffin and imagine yourself as a puffin, or as a kind of bird, like, you know, I'm imagining puffin like a penguin for some reason. I know puffins aren't penguins, but you could look up videos of puffins and just see how they are as creatures or animals, and maybe that stimulates some ideas in love. Okay, let's get into your reading. We're going to draw a Moonology card first for you guys. And we have Full Moon and Leo, Go Wild. Yeah, maybe because I felt called to pull from the animal book. Maybe it's time to get in touch with more animalistic instincts, which could relate to body language, honestly. In your angel card, we have Yesod, root connection. And that could relate to body language, you know, anything that's more animalistic, like how are people looking at you? Like how are people making moves towards you? Are they touching you? Like sensual stuff as well. You know, that could be something that is important for you guys moving forward in your love life. Okay, so let's get a playing card here. We have 10 of Spades. Oh, this makes so much sense with the body language. I'll get into that in a second. Hold on. Let me get your tarot cards and then we'll get into your reading. The tarot cards are representing inevitabilities, like things that are probably most likely going to happen, whether you change them or not. Sometimes there's little things that can change. These things right here are representing your energy of how to attract more love, what you can do to attract more love, like an action you can take, which we already read a lot of actions you can take in the Spirit Animals book. So maybe there will be more here. Like I have to still read the cards, but let's see. Let's get your tarot cards out. We have Queen of Cups, we have the Tower, and we have the Chariot. Let's see what else is coming through for group 4. Okay, we have Knight of Swords, we have King of Swords, wow, and 5 of Pentacles, wow, okay. Okay, let me see, let me make sure these all look pretty. I'm trying to make them lined up with the bottom of the camera and like, you know, just overall aesthetically pleasing. Okay, let me take a look at this and then I'll get into your reading. Okay, let's get into your reading. This is really cool because a lot of the actions you complete kind of sets the inevitable events into motion. So it's a really cool thing. You can think of these actions, very different from the other groups, but you can think of these actions up top here as the key to start the ignition to your vehicle. It's funny, we also have the Chariot, which indicates like vehicle movement, the mode in which you travel in. So Chariot can sometimes even be like planes or sailboats or whatever you move in. You know, it can also be your own physical body as you're walking through the world, stuff like that. But overall, these actions are the keys to igniting the ignition of the movement of the inevitabilities. So let's get into it. First, I want to talk about you guys for a little bit with Queen of Cups here. You're represented as this Queen of Cups energy, which is a very nurturing energy, very caring energy, very motherly energy, might I add. I feel like you guys are very caring to your friend circle. You guys strike me as the people who are like, you know, like nice as apple pie, you know, like it's the vibe of like just being so sweet and so considerate and just really caring. Like there's this feeling of care and consideration. I'm also looking at her blue dress, and I do think you guys are excellent communicators. I did see that when we got the puffin message that you guys are very much wordy, or you pay attention to what people say. You also pay attention to what you say to people. That message about, there was 2 messages in the puffin book, one about like not speaking out of turn, and the other one, I can't remember what the other one was. It was something like not saying, the one that I want to talk about is not speaking out of turn. I feel like you guys already have that mastered. I feel like you've already worked on that. I feel like you guys are really great conversationalists. I honestly feel like also with these lilies, this is the first time I've ever noticed these. I don't even know if they're lilies. They look like, I don't know what the flower is, where it's like white, it has that yellow thing. And I'll show you up close so you guys can see that flower. Maybe that particular flower is significant for you in some way. I don't know what that flower is called. If you guys know or look it up or whatnot, let me know, post in the comments. But yeah, this flower to me is representing purity and it's representing stimulation. So I do feel like there's this feeling of people being stimulated by your purity, like maybe inspiring people to live a purer lifestyle, something like that. With the Queen of Cups, one of the more traditional meanings I associate with this card is having one foot in the intuitive world and one foot in reality. This means that you guys are pretty balanced, right? You're pretty balanced in this sense. Now, I do want to say there is kind of like a rebalancing with the actions that are going on, but at this current point, you guys probably feel pretty balanced within yourself. You're comfortable with your spiritual side and you're comfortable with the realities of the world. You're comfortable with the practical side of life. With the tortoise here, I think you guys are slow movers. I think you're kind of slow and steady is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And I also think there could even be, say if you're not slow and steady, the other message coming through for those of you who don't feel like you're a slow and steady person, you are the types that nurture and care give to people who are slow and steady. So a lot of your friends, a lot of your partners, a lot of people in your family, you have a lot of karmic ties to people who progress along in a very steady fashion through life. And you help guide them, you know? I would have to say that like I don't know a lot of people who are very slow and steady types. But I can see you guys, however you do it, it's funny, I'm seeing you guys like on the other end of this video being like, you don't have to explain, I already know how I guide these people. You know, I already know how I like talk to the people who are like slow movers or, like do everything at a very measured pace. That's the kind of vibe that I'm getting. You're a guide to these people. You're a guide to these people. And when these people have issues or problems or anything like that, I feel like it's almost like you unblock their energy or something like that, or you get them back on track or something like that. There's this feeling of being very nurturing and caring towards these types of people as well. Almost like it's almost like it's like a parent being very patient. Like the vibe I'm getting from you guys is like patience, right? Like patience and taking your time in being with someone who might need more time to work through their problems or might need a longer period of time. Like maybe some people, some counselors like really intensive therapy where they get to their client and they want to get the therapy done really, really quickly, right? Like we're going to get you out of therapy in a month. You're going to have all your issues solved and we're going to do it boom, boom, boom. I feel like the way you guys deal with people and the way you guide people is very slow and steady. Like, hey, like, how are you doing this week? You know, like what's been going on? And, these are people who might not have that much going on in their lives. So they might not need that many check-ins. As I'm talking, I'm feeling like I'm bringing up a lot of therapy metaphors. Maybe a lot of you are therapists or you work in counseling in some way, whether you're a school counselor, whether you are like a psychiatrist or a therapist, or you guide people in some way. You guys could be some kind of spiritual figure that also guides people. But the people that are attracted to you are very measured people. They're attracted to your patience because you have an ability to adapt to their level and get how do I put it? Like down on their level and get into their own pacing. You can get on other people's energetic pacing and not feel too disoriented from that. I think a lot of faster paced types might feel like if they have to slow down, it's kind of a vibe of like, how do I put it? It's like, it's almost uncomfortable for other people to engage with these people that are attracted to you, like their energy, but you very much understand these types. It's interesting because I do see that ultimately the energy of your partner, which I see as this inevitability. It's like as soon as you do this kind of energy, it's like this whole thing starts off, right? There's almost this inevitability of your future partner with Knight of Swords and King of Swords. First of all, they're on a growth journey, right? They're on a growth journey. And I do feel like there's this vibe of them starting out very speedy and quick and very like conversational and almost more fast paced, but slowing down over time. Whereas most of the people you work with have kind of always been consistently slow and steady, something like that. Okay, so let's get into, I think I have to get right into the key dynamics of how to enhance your ability so you're not single anymore, because I am really, this is just, this part of the reading, the Queen of Cups, is really coming out as confirmation when you're watching this reading. Like if all these things are hitting and you're like, whoa, that's so me. This is just confirmation so you can continue with the reading, right? Let's get into your little like tips and tricks, right? We have Yesod, root connection. There is a strong need for you to connect with your root chakra. I am seeing that when you connect with your root chakra, you will truly be able to see inside yourself clearly and accurately. Almost as easy as you see into these other people's lives, right? Also connecting with the root chakra is going to get you in touch with your primal instincts. We see that again here with full moon and Leo go wild. This is a full moon, so I do feel like there may have been a long period of time where you've been working on this, where you've been trying to get in touch with more primal ways of communicating. Maybe you guys, like maybe the way you flirt is very intellectual, something like that. Maybe you flirt in a very intellectual way, but when it comes to flirting, you're learning you have to have more of an animalistic side to it. Like you have to be grounded in your body, pay attention to what your body is going through, what your body is feeling, and also knowing how other people are feeling in those moments. There's a need to bring in a sensuality here. And almost it could be like an awakening of your sexuality, but I'm seeing more like animal instincts, like primal stuff. Like, when an animal hunts its prey, it's like checking to see where it moves, or like when two animals do a mating ritual, they're doing a mating dance. It's like a specific dance. And, if one animal, like for example, birds, like if one bird, the male bird fluffs off all these bright feathers, right? And then the female bird is, sitting there and she's waiting for the male to do her dance, to do his dance. Sorry, I said her, but the animal kingdom is a little, different genders than ours, kind of, if, that's how I see it anyway. But yeah, the female bird's waiting for the male bird to like do his dance and like, kind of show off to her so she can decide if she wants to be with him or not. I feel like this is the vibe of like getting connected to your root chakra so you instinctively know the dance moves, right? It's almost like maybe you guys have like tried to work with crown chakras, higher energies, spirit guides, stuff like that to really discover how to not be single anymore. Like maybe you guys pray a lot to your guides. Maybe you guys are trying to work with angels, stuff like that. But I'm seeing it's almost like you need to go in the other direction in order to learn the moves, right? It's not angels, or as much as I love angels and spirit guides and they can really help, sometimes we can get a little lost in the sauce. And I really think connecting to your root chakra specifically could bring so many benefits in pulling up those earth-like energies. Like if you look at, I've been thinking about this lately too. Like I used to have this book and I would write down stuff like all the spiritual or metaphysical or witchy kind of stuff that I would think of. And I would like write all these theories and ideas down and stuff. And one of the things that I have in my book is like, I call it like the aspects of 6 directions there. And I call like north, south, east, and west as like the 4 directional points. And then there's upwards and downwards. And I refer to those as like Uranus and Gaia, right? Like earth energy and heavens energy, right? Like core earth, heavens, sky, that kind of thing. You guys have been reaching up into the sky a lot. You've been trying to get images from the sky or looking into the sky to download knowledge and stuff like that. And while that's all fine and good, and I think you should continue that, what you need to connect with is the earth, right? You guys might be people who at this current point in your life, oh wow, this is coming in. When you guys are very spacey, when you're feeling very spacey and heady and ungrounded, that tends to be when you don't attract love. It's like the more spacey or metaphysical or spiritual you become, it's like you stop attracting love. It's like all of a sudden people don't want to be with you. All of a sudden people are not attracted to you, stuff like that. Now, one thing that I'm seeing is if you reorient to the root chakra, right, where you're pulling up energies from the earth, you're letting yourself kind of take hold in the earth and root yourself to that, you're going to be more in touch with the animal kingdom. You're going to be more in touch with the way, like I'm seeing specifically the way trees grow and the way plants grow and the way plants are rooted. I'm also seeing like walking in grassy fields, stuff like that. I'm also getting an image of the desert and hot environments. something about the heat surrounding your body and making you feel comfortable and warm. I think that's kind of, it's funny that's what I'm getting, because when I work with the root chakra, it doesn't really seem to be affecting that one area of my body. The root chakra seems to affect the entirety of my body. Whenever I work with my root chakra, it feels like my whole body is vibrating usually. So you guys might have that experience or become that experience or get that experience. And I think that experience could be facilitated by learning from desert environments. Like when you go to a very hot place and you're surrounded by heat, getting that heat surrounding you could facilitate awakening the root chakra as well. Or it could be like a similar feeling to when you do awaken the root chakra, so you know you're on the right track. But getting in touch with that root energy, right? Stones that can help with this. I think black stones, obviously, but red stones too. Red stones especially. They're hard to find. I'm not gonna lie. When I found this one, I bought it online, and it's like a really pure version of rhodonite that's very red. So this is kind of the root chakra stone that I will use most frequently. But this is a very like higher quality piece of rhodonite. You can use rhodonite for root chakra stuff, but usually they're like pink and they have inclusions. This is a rhodonite over here. But overall, rooted kind of energy, grounding yourself, going out into the earth, barefoot on the sand, on the earth, on the grass, in the mud. Some people like to walk in mud, random, I'm getting that, but maybe you guys, maybe you need to like put your feet in mud or something like that. I'm also getting like mud baths for some of you, like mud baths could be helpful, something like that. But anyway, connecting to the root, grounding into the earth, let yourself breathe the energy and let yourself absorb the energy of the earth. Let it come up from the earth in through your feet and into your body, and let all that spaciness and ungrounded sense of yourself go into the earth, right? I think that you guys aren't spacey all the time, but if you look back, you'll notice a correlation between the times where you were very much in your head and lost in dreams and being single, and then moments where you were very grounded and sensual. Possibly for some of you, you were doing a sport at the time that you had a relationship, or you were doing a lot of physical activity at the time you had a relationship, but you were very grounded in your body whenever you were in a relationship, something like that. And it's almost like that groundedness can attract love again. You might be in a spacey time right now where you're just feeling so out of it. That's something, but anyway, point being, connect with the root chakra. You can look up multiple videos online how to do that, and that'll really help you. That's also going to bring out your animalistic instincts with Go Wild. When you're connected to the root chakra, it's like you're downloading knowledge from the earth, not from the heavens. it's not like spirit guides speaking to you and giving you information. It's more like feeling the earth's energy giving you information, so like in general, like weather patterns, anything with like vibrations in the earth, listening to percussion music like drums and stuff could be really helpful with getting you in touch with your root chakra. So like percussions, drums, some forms of EDM are like that, where it's very focused on the bass or the percussion or the percussion or the drum beat. Something about that, getting in touch with that bass core center. And because it's a full moon, I feel like you guys have been working on this, or at some points in your life, you've dipped into this energy and out of this energy. Full moon in Leo just means fully go into it, right? Like maybe you've been afraid to fully ground or root yourself, fearing that you're going to lose some of these spacey kind of energies. Maybe you enjoy feeling a little spacey every once in a while, or maybe you enjoy feeling like your head in the clouds, or you enjoy connecting to the universe. But there's this thing here that you will still be connected even if you're grounded, right? It's just a matter of like being in touch with the other world, being in touch with the world of earth and nature and the rooted sense of yourself, being in touch with the earth's energies is going to be really important at this time. Gardening could help, stuff like that. Working with animals could help as well. Specifically if you have the opportunity to get in touch with a place that works with wild animals. I know there's like wolf sanctuaries. There's places where you can actually go and interact with wild animals that are either in like a sanctuary or something like that. Going on a safari could be beneficial as well. If you are going on a safari soon, or you're planning that trip, that could be something that awakens your love life. Just by seeing animals in the wild. Watching nature documentaries could also be beneficial. All these things are tools to get you in touch with your own wild instincts and get you in touch with your own grounded center, which is going to awaken that ability and navigation in the flirting world. It's going to awaken the ability to know what your prospective partner is wanting, right? It's going to get you in tune with body language. It's going to get you in tune with people's actions versus what they're saying, right? What people are communicating, that's a very can be a very mind kind of place, right? When people talk about things, or they can talk about ideas, stuff like that. What I'm seeing is paying attention to how people are behaving, right? Like little twitches and stuff people have that they're not really that aware of. Like there's certain things in body language. People think that we can really control our body language a lot, but it's kind of really difficult. Like I think there's only some people that can control their body language to the degree where they are kind of presenting a certain way. I really feel you guys are, once you get grounded, you'll be able to see the body language and be hyper aware of what that all means. I think you guys have a really strong connection to this element. And when you tap into it, that's kind of what I'm seeing. I'm seeing once you get rooted or physical, or you have a really strong connection to it. And maybe before it was unconscious, like maybe you were doing a sport or you were really engaged with your root chakra before, and you were very unconscious with it. And you kind of were flirting and it was going well, but you didn't really know why it was going well. It's because unconsciously you were tapped into body language. But now I'm feeling like there's this kind of awakening coming where you'll be consciously aware of it. Like you'll be getting ideas and thoughts like, oh my gosh, that person backed away from me. Like they are, they're upset because of this, or that person backed away from me. I must have said the wrong thing. There's this feeling of you guys being really tuned into body language just by getting in touch with your root chakra. Okay, now I want to get into the almost inevitability of events. 10 of Spades, I'm just going to get into this real quick before I get into the inevitability of events. 10 of Spades really it talks about having a selfless ego, but being really in tune with other people's motivation. So body language would totally apply to this, right? In my card system, it might not be in everyone's card system, but spades represent movement, work, labor, motivation, strength, health, stuff like that. I think you guys I think eventually you will sacrifice your own ego in this department and clearly be able to see the physical vibrations of everyone around you. It's almost like a telepathy, but a body language telepathy, right? It's very clearly understanding why people move the way they do, why they're motivated, why they want to get into action, what they're passionate about, their livelihood. I think people who have 10 of Spades energy are excellent doctors because they can easily see what's wrong with the life force or vitality of those around them. This is kind of the vibe of being just telepathically in tune. The image I'm getting is I don't know if you guys have ever watched the medium Tyler Henry, but there's this feeling of knowing people's issues, physical or health issues before they do. And not just before they do, but you kind of aware of it as it's going on with them. So it's almost like a telepathy. You can kind of see a person in a moment and be like, oh, their energy is very lethargic. And I'm very aware of that. It's just seeing the flow. This 10 for me is all about seeing the flow around you, very Neptunian in the sense that you're lost in that flow, but it's without your own sense of ego. It's not creating ideas about what things are, but just clearly seeing the reality around you for what it is, specifically with health, vitality, passions, motivation, life force energy. So spades to me represents life force energy. So that is a gift that's coming to you that actually is going to be something that almost seems like a little bit of a transformation once you go through these things. And it kind of integrates very nicely into the rest of the reading. But it's just a little side note right now about this gift that's coming to you, especially if you get rooted in your root chakra. Okay, so an inevitability of events that happen. We have the Tower here. Usually that scares people, but the way I see the Tower is usually something being destroyed. And that oftentimes people think that can be their inner psyche, and sometimes it can be. Initially, when I started reading tarot, I would read the Tower like that. But lately, I just read the Tower as stuff breaking or stuff breaking down. This can be and it usually, because it's an inanimate object, it usually indicates some kind of physical structure. And with it being next to the Chariot, it could be your vehicle, it could be your car. Maybe your car is having trouble, or maybe at the point where your car is at the point where you need to sell it or get rid of it, or, you know, maybe it's broken down to the point where you're like, okay, we got to move this car out of my life. I need a new vehicle. That might be a time when a lot of these events are starting to fall into place. But also with the Tower, it could be the home. It could be that your home needs a lot of repairs, or that you're constantly working on your home, something like that. Or that you might be moving homes too, with the Chariot representing movement and travel. This could be moving a home, moving a residence, something like that. With the eye above here, I do see that your angels and guides are watching over you. Even in these destructive influences, even when you awaken your root and you get into your root, you're still being guided. You might not have as easy of an access to those angels or guides at this time as you're getting in touch with your root chakra. Just know they're still watching over you, even if you can't communicate with them at this time. You will be able to communicate with them eventually. Again, it's just when you're getting so in touch with your root, sometimes that can null out some of the higher vibrations. But at the same time, you guys are looking for love, and I'm just kind of giving you the passcode, you know. But your angels and guides are looking out for you. So this is an indicator that you're being watched over, even through moments of destruction, even through moments of like things breaking, you know, or things not going your way is kind of one thing that I'm seeing. Now, these two men are flying out of the object, and they're on fire, right? Kind of seems disastrous for them in a sense, because they're like falling out of the building, stuff like that. I just got this image of 9/11. There might even be a need to suddenly depart from something that is going wrong in your life. And it's interesting. I do think getting in touch with the root energy gives you that instinct to depart right away. It's like, wow, I need to leave this situation right off the bat because this thing's crumbling around me. And then it's like you escape right away. It's like that feeling of, oh, wow, like I'm out of there now. You know, like I'm out of there now. I'm out of there. The Chariot is movement. The Chariot is flowing. That is only a message that's going to apply to for some of you. The other thing that I want to bring up with 9/11, before I start to interpret that message, I do want to say that this might be something significant for you in general. If you know like a survivor of 9/11, or if you lost someone in the 9/11 attack or something like that, there could be some significance with 9/11. So take that if it resonates. If you guys don't have anything dealing with 9/11, don't worry about it. This reading can still apply to you. It's just for those who have that they're dealing with that. With the Chariot here, I do see like a new car or a fresh start. There is a feeling of like, I'm seeing the sky parting and the sun coming through. You know, there's a feeling of like illumination when it comes to your higher mind, just through getting in touch with your root chakra. With the Chariot running over water and the sky being involved, I feel like there's this higher intelligence speaking through you that's starting. It's like the clouded sensation that you're no longer in touch with spirits and angels and spirit guides because you got in touch with your root chakra. It's like parting. Like, this is just basically saying that like eventually, once you get in touch with your root chakra, you'll be in touch with your spiritual side again, but coming from a grounded place where you're also aware of your instincts. You're also aware of those earthly impulses and those animalistic impulses, right? With the Chariot here, this talks about movement in your vehicle. There could be significant things related to love in your vehicle. You could have to travel to see your love, something like that, when the love comes into the picture. I do see your love on a horse, and I do see you in a chariot with 2 horses, and that creates 3 horses. Horses might be relevant in general, but just in general, movement and travel is relevant with you and your partner coming in, right? A lot of people, like, I didn't get too many, I got like vague messages of who their partner was. This reading, I'm getting really clear, strong messages of who the partner is and the growth path with you and them. That's kind of what I'm seeing. So with Chariot here, I just see you driving a lot. I mean, the message is really simple. I don't know if I need to elaborate on it. There's something about being in your car a lot, driving a lot, maybe getting inspired ideas and thoughts while you're driving. But there is a feeling of like movement with you and your partner. I think you and your partner with that root chakra energy are going to be very physically active or very focused on movement. Like I said, they started out in life a little more energetic than the people you're used to counseling, right? Maybe there's this feeling too with you guys where you're thinking like all these kind of like slow moving, slow and steady people that you counsel, you're like very good at it. You're very comfortable with it. but it's not, none of them would really excite you enough for you to be in a relationship with them. And it's almost like you feel like these slow and steady people are more like your children than any kind of romantic partner. I feel like if you've tried to date one of them in the past, it just didn't go well because you felt too nurturing towards this person. This person is more energetic. They're more, they just have energy is the thing that's coming through. They have more sense of energy. They're also not afraid to speak their mind, is kind of what I'm seeing. And I do see that they enjoy the world of spirit just as much as you do. It's just that they're kind of on the opposite side of things, where they started really rooted and grounded, and they're literally just exploring spiritual topics. And the vibe that I'm getting from them, which is kind of funny, is this is someone who just started exploring their spirituality, but is actually pretty overconfident about what they know. Like, they don't really know a lot, but they think they know a lot. You guys might cringe at that a little bit, but just realize they're on the beginning of their journey and they're just exploring spiritual concepts. So even if they don't know exactly what it's not that they know what they're saying, because they're basing it off their own truth. That's the very Knight of Swords energy, is my truth, what I believe in, no matter what anyone else believes in. That's kind of a Knight of Swords energy. So they're following their own path. They're not trying to copycat anyone. That's not the vibe here. They are actually just feeling like they know the whole picture before they've had the experience to gain more knowledge. So something that I see, it's not necessarily a rocky start, but it's one of those things too, where like, you had to get more grounded in your root chakra. They had to expand a little bit more into the higher realms for you guys to connect. So when you guys do connect and when you meet, I think there's a lot to talk about. And it's so funny because I think, your experiences with the root chakra, you will be kind of preachy to them. Like, you'll be saying like, oh yeah, being grounded and being in tune with and I know people's body language and all this stuff, right? You're kind of preaching to the choir with them. Essentially they started life like that. They are always aware of people's body language and motivation and how people moved and their vitality and stuff like that. Now they're going to be preaching to you about spiritual concepts, and you're gonna be like, girl, I know this stuff, or guy, whatever, I know this stuff, I know I know spiritual stuff well beyond you. But the vibe here is just listening, right? It's just, you're listening to their ideas, they're listening to your ideas. And the beautiful thing about this connection is that you are there for each other in growth moments. It's almost like you get to see their life unfold in this particular way with their spiritual development, and you can kind of guide them and have them not make the same mistakes that you did, or you just know how to navigate their spiritual growth, right? And they're coming in at a time where they kind of know how to navigate with your root chakra energy. That's why I don't think you have to master this root chakra energy before you meet this person. You just need a little bit of knowledge with it, and you need to start applying it in a little bit. I think at the point where you're starting to realize what people's body language actually means, or what their how do I put it, their behavior means, or you start noticing like if someone looks sick and they actually are sick and you're realizing that, something like that. That is the time this person's going to come in, because you're meant to kind of walk each other through those paths to help each other grow. Now, the thing that I'm seeing with the King of Swords energy, this is your partner, because here's the thing. You guys are on a growth journey, right? Especially your partner is on a growth journey, and they're going to grow so much from you. Like I said, you're very nurturing. You're almost like this gardener who takes care of things that take a while to grow or nurture, because you do work with those people slow and steady and are patient with them. This person you might not have to be patient with. They might be advancing really quickly. That might shock you a little bit, but because you're in tune with those root chakra animalistic energies, you're able to adapt quicker to their growth and development. Now, as you are in a relationship with this person, I'm seeing that with the King of Swords here, you are, they're growing into a really stable, really reliable figure. Their energy slows down as time goes on. That's something that I'm seeing clearly. They might be very energetic when you first meet them, or have a higher amount of energy than you're used to. But as you date them and as they progress through life, their energy slows down. So their energy slows down. They become more stable. They have a firm grip on the truth. And eventually they no longer need to just share their truth bluntly or be like, this is the truth and I know it. I'm going to share it because I'm confident and I learned this just now and I'm going to share it. They become this person who is very aware of all knowledge in general. They're very aware of all knowledge that they've learned, all spiritual, highly spiritual, esoteric topics. but they have a way of adjusting to the person they're in conversation with to only share the truth that is required in that moment. Especially, this is the type of person who grows into someone who never offends anyone. This is the type of person who grows into someone who's very kind and considerate. And when they're sharing their truth, they're very careful not to step on anyone's toes. It's almost like they're absorbing a little bit of your nurturing, your communicative energy is kind of what I'm seeing. And with Knight of Swords here, I know how we talked about you being a great communicator, especially with words and verbal communication, saying the right thing. This person might not be that good at communication right when you meet them. They have the vibe of like they're a little blunt in how they communicate is kind of what I'm seeing. Not necessarily in like their manner, but in their like opinions. Like they're not adaptable to like conversing in that style. They are with you, but maybe not with other people. Five of Pentacles just indicates that at the end of life, there is this feeling of, what is this? Oh, okay. It's this feeling of your partner. I mean, I think it's you and your partner, but your partner attracting the sick and afflicted, or your partner attracting people who, like, you guys might live, like in your later years, or when you guys are developing, or when you're like learning, after you've like learned from each other, because you're meant to come into each other's life and teach each other things, right? But after you've learned from each other, there's this feeling of attracting sick and afflicted people or animals is what I'm seeing. So you might take in a stray dog or a cat, or heal something or nurture something back to health. This could also be people who are financially struggling. You have them move in with you, something like that, or you help them out in some specific way. This can also be with the King of Swords here, this person giving these people advice. So maybe not necessarily you taking them on, or like healing them in a very physical way, like sheltering them or adopting them or whatever. But there is this feeling of nurturing these people who are sick and afflicted with very positive, direct advice. The more I think of it, this King of Swords energy represents the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups kind of combined. It's like you guys become one solid unit, and you're represented with both of you as the King of Swords. Like that's the archetype that is representing both of you. I'm seeing these two butterflies by this guy's head, and it's like you're two. You know how they have the angel and the devil on the person's head? It's like you're a couple, and when you guys talk and communicate, it's like one sharing one perspective, you're sharing the other perspective. So think of the angel and the devil on the shoulders, but just more cohesive, and that moves this bigger version of both of you into like a perfect kind of like caring vibe. I'm seeing very caring. I think your caringness is never going to leave in this situation, no matter who you date and who you marry. Your caring nature is never going to go away. Even if you're rooted in yourself, even if you're spacey, you're always going to be nurturing. That's kind of the vibe that I'm seeing with you guys. You just have that built into you. With Five of Pentacles, I do see you helping a lot of people, healing a lot of people. This is also the indication that the person you're going to marry could be a doctor. Could be a doctor, and maybe you're a nurse and you meet them in the hospital, something like that, or you meet them in an area where people are recovering from injuries, something like that. That could be another message if it applies. And let's see here. I think I'm going to wrap this up. Yeah, I don't think I see anything else. Thank you guys again so much for letting me read for you today. It was an honor. It was a pleasure. I'm really glad I got to deliver this message for you all. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was insightful or resonated in some way. And if you want to help out the channel and see it grow more, you can like or comment on the video. That always helps out. And if you feel like this reading really resonated and you want to take a stab at my channel and see if other readings in the future resonate, feel free to subscribe. Anyway, catch you guys later. Bye. Hey, group 5, if you pick the green calcite, this will be your reading. Welcome. Okay, so let's get your cards out. These first cards, these oracle cards, are basically going to be the things you can do with your free will, like that you can do to enhance your ability to find love, right? So if you're single right now, obviously, if you're watching this reading, these will be the things you can do to break out of that rut, essentially. We have assessed the situation. Let's get and for your angel card, we have Angel of Truth. Actually, let me adjust the camera a little bit because I think it's, I don't know, let's see, we'll see. Okay, so make a playing card actually before the tarot cards. and see what needs to come through for that. And we have Jack of Hearts, okay. And let's get some tarot cards for you guys for your inevitabilities when it comes to sorry, I'm losing my words here. I probably have to remove some crystal energy from my fingers, these two rings or this ring. Sometimes if the energy is jacked up, removing crystals can help just as much as putting crystals on. So just a little fun fact for y'all. Okay, let's see. Let's get the rest of your cards. We have 2 of Pentacles, we have 4 of Cups, and we have 7 of Pentacles. I'm trying to adjust them to the table and then adjusting the camera so I don't have to worry about adjusting these later. There we go. Cool. Okay. So yeah, let's get into your reading. Okay, let's get into your reading. As I was assessing some signs I want to point out that I noticed right off the bat, as soon as I looked at this playing card, it kind of was the thing that tied in the entire reading and does represent the type of person that you will end up with as a single person, or the type of person you could end up with. I have been tying the playing cards to half the kind of stuff you can do to help your situation and half to the inevitabilities. It's kind of like standing in between both worlds, kind of like the synergy of that, like kind of like ultimate truth between fate and free will. So let's get into your reading. I'm going to cover these first 2 cards just to go over what you guys are currently going through. So if it resonates, you'll know this reading is for you and you can keep watching it. So with Wheel of Fortune and Knight of Swords, I feel like you guys have had a lot of good luck lately, like really good luck, like just a string of positive event after positive event happening to you. I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know what special potion you're drinking, but this is a very positive energy. This is an extremely positive energy. This is an extremely fortunate energy. I think there's just a lot of events happening in your life that are really meaningful and significant and very lucky and fortuitous. I feel like right now, it's like your life is like a storybook. It's almost like you're looking at your life like, wow, my life is literally a storybook. And, you know, the one thing that is not there, obviously, is that you're single, right? But at the same time, I feel like a lot of you are almost enjoying your life so much right now, you like don't care that much about being single. It's very interesting. I feel like you guys have been on a run with pick-a-cards too. Watching pick-a-cards that maybe are like, you know, they're saying they take 3 months to manifest, something like that, but they're like manifesting in a week, something like that. Like your life is very jam-packed. I see a lot of busyness, but not busyness in the sense of like you're doing a lot. It's just that a lot of good things are happening to you. So the more you put yourself out there right now, the more you facilitate your own journey, I feel like more good things will happen. You're just on this kind of winning streak is the vibe that I'm getting. With Nine of Swords here, this is the one thing that might be disturbing you a little bit. First of all, you might be having some worries about when is the winning streak going to crash? When am I going to crash? Because my life sometimes goes up and then it goes down. When am I going to crash? That could be a worry. But also with the Nine of Swords, you're having so much positivity in your outer reality that with Nine of Swords, your inner reality, it's not your inner reality, it's your dream reality. It's your subconscious, is going through a lot of dark times. Now, some of you are not aware of this, especially if you don't remember your dreams. But for those of you that are really tied into your dream life, this could be a little bit troubling. It could be very bittersweet, like a lot of good, positive, materialistic things happening to you in your life, manifestations coming true. But then your inner dream life being filled with like nightmares or, I'm not going to go into explicitly what those nightmares would be. I could give examples, but I do not want to trigger anyone. But these could be quite dark, right? This is just like your subconscious, how do I put this? It's like the opposite energy. Like it's like your dreams are giving you the opposite vibration of what your outer reality is representing right now. It's because so much darkness is being taken out of your waking life. It's being sent into your dream world so you can process your shadows without them getting in the way of your waking life. It's like your obstacles are being removed right now from your life. But you're going to find a lot of obstacles in your dreams, right? Like you're almost not achieving things you want in your dreams, but in the outer reality, everything is just falling into place, right? I do see mornings being a little difficult for you, like when you guys get out of bed, like trying to shake the nightmares. Something that could be beneficial, I would say, are crystals that either prevent nightmares or are good for dreaming or sleeping. But also on top of that, crystals that can help you learn the lessons in your dream, and integrate them into your conscious reality. The way I see this happening is, you guys may be like processing your dream or waking up from a dream and then kind of saying like, well, what is the lesson here? Why is this happening this way? How can that apply to my outer reality? Stuff like that. I do see another reason why this anxiety is coming, and there's this Wheel of Fortune, all these positive things happening. There is this kind of, I don't know if it's a belief for you guys, or there is this kind of like inevitability of becoming wealthy, or like getting more money, or being in a position of wealth over other people, or being someone who has mastered their career. A lot of good things could be happening to you in your career sector. So things in your job could be going well. You could be being promoted to a higher position soon, or if not already. There is a vibe here of just being the essence of abundance, right? So people might be coming to you for advice as well. You are becoming this ruler or this king of, good luck, material abundance, financial abundance, and people are coming to you for advice. I do see with the bulls in the king's throne, it's representative of Taurus energy. We also have Taurus as one of the angels representing the Wheel of Fortune, with the different fixed signs representing all 4 seasons. Wheel of Fortune does have this kind of time component to it. In this reading, I'm seeing it more as like actual fortune, like good things happening, but it does have this time component to it. So I do think there is a cyclical nature to things. If you want, you probably could look into astrology and see a lot of what's going on right now in your life, because astrology essentially is this giant clock that is always spinning and always determining the next thing, right? So there's kind of an element of that like there might be certain transits right now that are spinning into place and they just happen to be happening all at once. You might have a stellium in your chart, and that's why all these good things are happening at once. And there's something either trining, I would say not squaring, but trining or conjuncting or sextiling all these certain positive things that are happening. With the King of Pentacles, I do see you coming into this kind of like position of wealth or authority at some point. And with the Taurus energy here, I see this being something stable for the long haul. I do think when you get into this position, whatever position of its success this is, I'm getting mastery for a lot of you. Whatever job you're in, it's like mastery. But whatever position this is also going to be something for the long haul. I do see a lot of things happening to you before finding love, before meeting a person. I feel like most of you don't care about meeting someone right now, or you're like okay with it being a long time. But I do think, let me get into the things that you could actually do to increase the love in your life and eventually meet someone, right? With Angel of Truth and assess the situation, it's asking you to look at the facts of situations, right? Like, especially with love and situations like that. It's asking you to look at the pragmatic aspects of a love connection. Particularly first of all, if people are telling the truth, that's coming in strongly. I feel like people present you with kind of like an intoxicating illusion often, and you kind of get wrapped up in it, is kind of what I'm seeing from your end, which is hilarious because on the surface, you guys are very like focused on success and career ambitions and stuff like that. And I do see you guys as very pragmatic. We have like 3 Pentacles cards here, so I do see you as realistic. But in the love department, it's almost like there's this sense of illusion there, or there's a sense of not understanding your partners, or there's a sense of not knowing who is telling you the truth, right? For a lot of you, you've been lied to in past relationships, or you had one significant relationship where you were lied to, and it left a bad taste in your mouth when it comes to love. And I do think you want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but you don't know who's telling you the truth, right? With assess the situation, first quarter moon in Virgo, I think it's great that you're a very earthy, kind of down to earth personality. That's probably why you like my channel. I have like eighth house with Taurus. So it's very like my readings are always very grounded, or like they're less wooey than other people. And it's funny, I knew I was going to talk about this on this particular group or this particular pile, but I literally have been trying to come to terms with whether I am actually psychic or not. And I've recently kind of decided, like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm a great tarot card reader. I may or may not be psychic. I might get messages here and there, but whatever I'm doing, it's like my intuition that's interpreting the cards. And I have no clue if it's coming from spirit guides. I have no clue if it's coming from angels or whatever. I work with angels to help protect me, and I do manifestations and stuff like that. So I am like spiritual, but I feel like I just don't have that same potency that other spiritual people do, in the sense that I'm not so wrapped up in it. Now, this could be you guys when it comes to love, like feeling like you need to be wrapped up in it, or you need to be someone who falls head over heels with someone. It does feel like when you feel this illusion of love and people have the possibility of deceiving you in this illusion, there is this feeling of stepping back from your own loving energies or your own desire to love in general. And I normally wouldn't give this advice, but you guys have a very specific type of way of discovering love, right? It's through pragmatism. I do think that how do I put this? It's actually not coming through who you're attracted to. It could be a variety of people. Maybe you're attracted to lots of different people, something like that. But everyone you're attracted to, you kind of give them love. Like, you automatically open your heart, you give them love. It's like you're just so eager to share that love with others, is kind of what I'm seeing. And with the Angel of Truth here, it's first integrating and reiterating the fact that you've had these partners that have not been truthful or who have lied to you in the past, that there is this kind of intoxicating illusion here. How you get through this is assess the situation with first quarter moon in Virgo, sticking with your pragmatic, earthy nature, right? First quarter moon is the beginning. It's after the new moon where you've set the intention, the seed has become who you're going to be, right? The first quarter moon is your growth process. You're still in the process of becoming this grounded individual. You are in very earthy, grounded energy. I do think that approaching love in this way could get you some success in love. So for example, approaching love in a very pragmatic way, whatever that means to you, I'm being told whatever that means to you, because for us, different versions of you, people watching, it's going to be different. It's going to mean something different. First of all, with the Pentacles energy, I'm going to give some examples. So just only take what resonates in this portion of the reading, especially because it's not going to resonate for everyone. Pragmatism for a lot of you means holding back your emotions. This is one example. Holding back your feelings until someone else shares feelings first, and then you share feelings, right? That is a way to assess the situation, or wait for someone to respond first with feelings of love before you immediately give love to someone who you're attracted to. The other thing too is take in account of practical consideration. So for example, how much money do they make? What is the security you would have with them? How stable are they? Like look at your checklist, right? This is the one time I would say look at your checklist, because this is the kind of energy of so much illusion and intoxication, it needs a reality check, right? And so look at the truth of the person on a very grounded, real level. The other thing that could help with a lot of you is making a negative checklist, right? Why is this person not good? Why is this person bad? What is their negative qualities? What is the downside to them? This way, it gives you a more balanced view of them immediately, so you're not too you're not too enchanted by the illusion, right? You get this sense of reality check, right? And it's just to ask you to push yourself into a more negative mindset. For example, like, just think of the things that are bad about this person. It's probably will be a difficult exercise, especially if you guys get a crush or you like someone, you're prone to thinking the best about them, right? You are always worried about getting lied to, but I do think you do still give people the benefit of the doubt. That is a testament to your heart. The fact that you're still willing to open your heart to people, even though people in the past have lied to you, Here's the truth, though. It also, this is screaming Neptune 7th house placements. I'm just going to say that. So if that resonates with you, not just your rising sign, but your moon sign or your sun sign, place your moon sign wherever that is. Make that the first house and see if Neptune is on the opposite side. Same with your sun. Make the sun the first house. See if Neptune's on the opposite side. That could also be a case for a lot of you, and also the rising sign, obviously. But with Angel of Truth, it's trying to look at the truth of the situation or kind of forcing yourself to see the truth. So sometimes that means putting yourself in a different emotional mindset in order to, how do I put this? See all sides of the equation, right? And through seeing all sides of the equation, through seeing all sides of the person and who the person is as a well-rounded, seeing them from different angles, I'm hearing shift your emotional state, shift your rose-colored glasses and put on different colored glasses. Like wear orange-colored glasses, wear blue-colored glasses, wear yellow-colored glasses. I'm literally seeing you have different perspectives and kind of seeing a person from all different angles. And that's how this assess the situation is coming across. I do think a lot of this is going to happen through conversation. I believe this is the throat chakra symbol. And I do think a lot of this will happen through conversation, asking questions. So one thing that the cards are urging you to do when it comes to love is ask questions about people. Like ask them what their passions are. Ask them different things about them, right? You can ask inadvertent questions in order to discover a person's psychology. And that's really being laid out here. Like there's certain questions that you can ask. And I'm hearing you guys know how to do this. There's certain questions you can ask where, how do I put this? You can understand someone's character or see a little bit about their motivation, even if it's just knowing their music taste, right? And then you get a bit of tidbit from that. Maybe you have a very specific taste in music and your partner's gonna need to like that same kind of music for you guys to get along. Maybe this is something where when you ask this person this question about music, if they say that genre that you're looking for, that's a good sign. Now, if they say a different genre, maybe that's the time to write that pros and cons list. Like, man, could I live with this? What about this? What about this? You know, kind of really weigh out the options. Think of like Libran energy, where you're putting some coins in the pros, you're putting some coins in the cons, you're seeing that balancing scale tip in one direction or the other. You know, you're weighing these options, you're going back and forth, right? You guys might also, I know I'm throwing out a lot of astrological placements, but you might have some Libra placements. We also have this Two of Pentacles here, and she is literally weighing these pros and cons. I do see this exercise with loved ones actually is really good for your business in the long run. Let me see what else I'm seeing. Sorry, it just got dark, so I felt like I need to quiet down and introspect with this reading because it's a beautiful day where there's like clouds and sunshine, and I love these days because the play of light that I experience when shadows come into my house or when light comes into my house, I know when to slow down or speed up or see when I have there's an epiphany or something like that. And because it just got dark, I feel like we need a quiet moment for a second. I will edit out most of it, obviously, but I feel like I need to reassess right now. Okay, some other things I'm seeing after the reassessment. There's a few things I'm seeing. I'm seeing this orb of light on top of this angel's head. A lot of these truths, once you really realize if a person's right for you, you'll get tingling sensations in your head, or you'll get some kind of sensation in your crown chakra. For me, when my crown chakra is kind of being activated, or my third eye area, I kind of think of the head as all one. I know there's two separate chakras there, but there is this feeling of, how do I put it? Like stars or outer space, feels like outer space is in my head. You guys might have something like a ping or a pull or something in your head. Like I'm seeing you guys it's almost like you get gut feelings in your head. Like you might not know what the information is, but instead of some people who have like clairsentience getting information in their stomach, and I know a lot of you are practical, so you might not know what all these terms mean. You can look them up and stuff, but you will get like how people say they have a feeling in their gut, right? Like I have a feeling in my gut. I know this, my gut tells me this is a bad situation. You guys will get this feeling in your mind. You'll be like, man, I have a headache when I'm around this person. Or man, I feel pressure in my head when I'm around this person. I feel like I can't think straight when I'm around this person. I feel like I get tongue-tied when I'm around this person. Whatever the case may be, these feelings that are in your brain, are guiding you to to a truth, to a deeper truth, right? Yeah. The other thing I want to point out is with the Four of Cups, jumping ahead to some inevitabilities in your life, eventually you will be turning down a lot of love partners, right? Once you start to see people assess them pretty accurately, I think people get this vibe about you that you know them. Like people get this vibe and this familiarity thing where they're like, wow, she really knows me, right? Because it's like once you figure out this little hack with assessing the situation, people kind of, how do I put this? They feel more comfortable with you, and they feel more like opening up. It's like just through like assessing these things yourself, people are more inclined to tell you the truth. People are more inclined to share their truth with you, which ultimately I think a lot of you guys want is you want people to be truthful with you. You want to hear the truth coming from other people. It is gradually getting lighter in the room too. And I don't know if you can see this because I have like automatic exposure thing on my camera. So I don't know if you guys can see the light changing. But yeah, getting more into the reading. I do think with the King of Pentacles, once you step into this power position, there is someone who is more this is coming through because Jacks to me can represent someone who's gender neutral, just putting that out there, or someone who is transgender in some way. If that doesn't resonate or that's not what you're attracted to, that will not be the case. The other option is this person is more younger than you or takes on a student role. So this is someone who is kind of like, how do I put it? It's like they're in that energy where they're still deciding what kind of role they want to be, right? That's kind of the vibe here. They're in that energy where they're still trying to decide what they want to be. And I think that you provide a lot of guidance for this person immediately when they come into your life, especially after you assess the situation with the Angel of Truth. You can really see this person clearly. And it's like a dream come true. I think this is someone you assess, you make a pros and cons list, you judge them from every angle, and you really get down to that moment of reality. You take that pragmatic approach, whatever it is that we talked about, whether you're judging the practical aspects of their life, whether you're not giving them love first, or whether, I can't remember the third one that I said, but whatever the grounded approach you're taking towards them, you're doing it from that approach. There's this feeling that no matter what, they just seem like an amazing option. They seem like this great person. They seem incredibly loving. Heart's energy is incredibly loving. This is the type of person who is going to make a great mom or dad for kids if you think about wanting kids. And I feel like this person has a very strong balance to your practical side, right? This person, I think you'll be able to bring your love out in a safe way with this person without them taking advantage of it. That's something that's coming through. I do think that this person is a little naive, similar to how you guys are, but they might be naive in a practical sense, right? Like this is the type of person who could be taken advantage of in a financial sense by someone, or they might not know how to organize their finances, something like that. This is the type of person who just might need more help in that regard. But it's like all the potential is there, right? All the talent is there. Like they have the instincts is kind of what I'm saying. They have the instincts, especially with the wolf deck. It's like very instinctual. This person has the instincts. Practical wise, I do think I feel like for some of you, they come from money. They come from some kind of status. So they understand how important these things are. I think that's one way when you're assessing them practically. It's not about their skill level, which is, I'm getting the rooms lighting up, so this is a confirmation. It's not about their skill level in these topics. It's about their values in these topics. So something that you're going to really resonate with your future partner when this person comes in is a sense of values, right? And you'll know what this is the thing. When you're in the King of Pentacles energy, you do have a sense of values, right? You've mastered that growth in that particular area. So whatever practical components there are to your life, you do have this strong sense of values to them where you know what you want in a relationship, right? So with assess the situation, asking these inadvertent questions about what your person believes in, how they value, like all these questions that stimulate like philosophy and what people think and believe and stuff like that. Those are going to be the types of questions that are going to really solidify this person in your mind. Also, I think this person's incredibly truthful. That might take some time to figure out because sometimes it's hard to know if someone's being truthful until experience proves it. But this person definitely is really truthful. I think they don't lie. I think they do share the truth with you. This is not someone to go behind your back. This person really looks up to you too, because we have Jack to King energy. This person really looks up to you. You could represent someone somewhat of like an ideal for them, similar to how you guys have kind of like an idealistic way or kind of a naive way of showing your love. This person has kind of like, I don't want to say worship fetish. It's not like that. It's not like doesn't get dark. Not dark. It doesn't get like intimate like that. Or kind of like into dark sexual territories. It's just that they really look up to you, right? They really look up to you. And I mean, it could get to that if that's what you guys are into and that's what you're manifesting and stuff. But this person just generally looks up to you. They really admire who you are. They admire your values. You guys share the same values. There's something about your pragmatism that they like. It could even be the status that you're at that they like, but there's also something very Taurian about you that they like. There's a feeling of this person's grounded, this person's stable, this person is like in a way like not too emotional. This person is not too how do I put it? Like this person, they like your stability. There's something about stability, and not just in your practical areas of life, because I'm seeing you guys want to be loved for other areas. You're watching this reading, you're like, what else? You know, Pentacles is not just money, job, career, finances. Those practicalities are included with Pentacles, but Earth sign energy is very stable. It provides the base and the foundation for growth to happen, right? But it does need water to water the plants. You know, a dry landscape can only grow like desert stuff, right? That's the only exception. But really, or any kind of earth needs water to grow life and to grow plants. And this person has that watery energy. They have that kind of relational, intuitive, dreamlike energy that would be very pleasant and good for your guys' energy in a complementary way, right? Think of how you initially like look at people when you initially give over your love to them. There's a little bit of this dreaminess in those moments, but it's almost like it's backwards, right? It's like, how do I put it? It's like you guys have been pouring water onto like fire, or the vibe that I'm getting, the actual metaphor I'm getting is trying to water air and trying to make plants grow out of the air around you, right? That's kind of the vibe that I'm seeing that a lot of you guys have been doing when you go, if you, like, I'm starting to talk about this past version of you, because I even want to say past now, because I'm feeling as this reading moves on, you guys are really thinking about these two energies quite a lot. But so we'll just already say this version of you's in the past, right? Let's keep looking forward. But this past version of you that kind of gave your love right away, and didn't see the truth in people, gave people the benefit of the doubt. It was almost like trying to water trees with air, right? This person's going to be very different than that. I'm getting the vibe of like putting water into this person, or this person almost providing the water for you, and then you seeing growth within yourself, especially emotionally. It's like this person shows affection to you. You see your heart growing. You see your inside warming up. You feel yourself glowing from within. I do think this person's very passionate. I'm being called to this old system of dynamics that I used to study. And there was this dynamic between a partnership of passionate and cold-blooded. Cold-blooded was someone who needs to be warmed up like romantically, right? And passionate is someone who's like has their emotions like either on their sleeve, or just has a depth to their energy or a depth to their feeling where their emotions come off in a very energizing way. I see this person as energizing to you, and especially the vibe that I'm getting, it's not really energizing, they inspire a warm glow within your heart. I feel warmth. And it's more so, it's not really warmth, it's like light. It feels like a light is emerging from within you when this person talks to you. It's like your inner light is growing. And I do want to reference that light metaphor. That's what feels really strong for me. People might tell you after you've been in a relationship with this person, wow, you have a very strong inner light. You have a very strong guidance. Wow, you're full of light and love. Something like that, where people may not have said that before, right? But people see a light in you. I think it also shows through your eyes. So after you meet this person, there's something about your eyes that change. They look more kind. They have like a light emerging from them. Yeah. Let's look into the rest of the clouds are going crazy. We have light and dark flashing all over the place. You guys might not be able to see it because of the exposure, but it's really happening. This is like major signs for you guys. Let's get into more of your reading. Let's see. Yeah. Inevitability, something that's going to happen no matter if you meet a partner or not. I do see assessing the situation, doing that pros and cons thing, and with the angel of truth, trying to see the truth, even though you can't see it. that well to begin with, or because you give your love right away, you can't see it. There's this feeling of assessing the situation, holding back, looking at things from all angles is kind of what I'm seeing. And really, the cool thing about this is you'll really be able to see people's different sides to themselves and their perspectives. It'll clearly show you who to avoid. And trust me, I feel like for you guys, there's a lot of people to avoid because eventually you start turning down love opportunities like no one's business. You guys become like a pillar of like, first of all, loyalty to your partner because there's something about them that's so different from other people. It makes sense why you guys have been single for so long because to find this person, I'm telling you, is a rare personality. There's not that many people like this person. They're rare. They're specifically a puzzle piece made just for you. You guys might not believe in that like unique soulmate stuff, but this person is specifically for you. Like they're the puzzle piece that completes you. Yeah, with Two of Pentacles, I see you guys weighing a lot in your life. Once you figure out how to assess this stuff, once you figure out how to weigh the pros and cons and things, you're able to utilize that in your life with other things, right? I do see with her managing these pentacles and then these waves in the background, it's giving me vibes of like the watery energy of your partner and the practical energy of you and having those combined. So, I mean, no matter what, it's almost like you're going to meet this person almost inevitably. And I am seeing the free will components, like going through a process in your life where you do learn these. It does feel like almost less of a choice. Like you could do it earlier, you could focus and work on it earlier, but it does feel like a process. You guys might already be doing this process. Like I mentioned, past self here, maybe you're already in this energy and this past self energy has been removed from you. Also, the fact that I said past self, it's like that's the way your guys' brain works. It's like as soon as you see the information, as soon as you see what is going I don't want to say wrong. I'm going to use wrong for the example, but I don't mean wrong. I mean like when it's going not in the way you prefer, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that way is wrong. Other people can live that way, and it doesn't mean they're bad or anything. But it's something, as soon as you see something you don't prefer and you see another option that's going to work better for you, you guys immediately leave it in the past. You're like, okay, forget it. Like, forget that. Like, I don't need to hold on to it at all. Like, I am ready to move on to the future. You guys are very future focused is what I'm seeing. With the Two of Pentacles here, I see this ability to weigh things with an emotional influence as well as a practical. It's giving strong balancing energy and it's giving interconnectedness with the infinity symbol here. There's this sense of interconnectedness with both of you. Infinity is also making me think of time. We do have the Wheel of Fortune here as representative of like your main kind of archetype at this time. I do think this person's going to last for a long time. I do think you guys have back and forth energy. So it could even be that some of you are lucky at certain points while your partner is kind of down on their luck. And then there's parts where your partner's really lucky. Maybe you're down on your luck, something like that. Not to say you guys can't go through lucky events together. It just seems that sometimes the energy shifts. Like sometimes there's more pragmatic luck in your life, and other times there's more emotional, intuitive, self-growth luck in your life. There will be times where that self-growth and that intuitive processing, or those moments where you're processing things, like builds your inner light and it shifts the energy more practical because your inner light's glowing. Then there's a more practicality here. That earthiness is rooting your partner, making your partner feel less like they have to, making your partner comfortable. Honestly, it's making them comfortable. They feel relaxed. That's something coming through strongly, that your partner feels comfortable and relaxed around you. They're not scared of you. They don't find you intimidating. They feel comfortable and relaxed. And because they're comfortable and relaxed, you know, it gets them to introspect a little bit and get in touch with their watery energies, right? Which flows back into you and brings up your inner light, all that good stuff. That's the balancing act that I'm seeing between both of you. With Four of Cups, you're turning down a lot. This ability to discern really pays off in a big way is what I'm seeing. And I really think you guys are focused on the goal and you turn down a lot of options that come your way. This is also not a bad thing. I do see you guys enjoying this process. I do see you guys, how do I put it? Like, you're not the types who like choices anyway. You know, it's like, give me what is supposed to be mine. Give me the right thing for me, and like let me settle in. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from you guys. So I do feel like you turn down a lot of things in your life. I think you and your partner keep things really closed. I think you guys spend a lot of time alone, with each other, romantic dinners by yourself, something like that. Not to say you guys can't have kids. I do see with the Seven of Pentacles, going back to the growing metaphor in the plants, this is an extreme, this might not resonate for all of you, but I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children. I see 7 children growing, or 7 projects. This could be projects or children. There's a feeling with the 5th house where it represents your creativity, your babies. Hopefully this reading's not getting too dark. Feels like very dark. It's evening time here. This represents like creativity, your babies, your creations. And one thing that I'm seeing with all of these pentacles, you'll have 7 main projects in your life that you're focused on growing, right? And you don't revert from those projects. It might be off for some of you. Maybe you guys have 8 or 6, but there are 7 core projects that you're growing, that are in growth and development, that you and your partner with that earth and water energy are very nurture and care for, right? You guys have a very hands-on presence, right? This woman is like a farmer in this garden, and I'm seeing you guys as kind of this way, as gardeners or farmers for these different projects. Now this could be children, projects, hobbies, educational goals, business goals, whatever the case may be. This is an area of your life that you're putting focus, energy, and attention into. I think I'm feeling called to end the reading. Remember with first quarter moon in Virgo, with assessing the situation, it's asking you to stay in the beginning stages of, like, not to jump into that feeling of love too soon, right? It's almost like you want to stay on this pragmatic, practical level because you still have more to grow in this department. And the cards are urging you to stay there and maybe not give your love so fully, but on first meeting with people, stay in that kind of reserved beginning stage of practical stuff. You know, when a plant has like dead leaves, or there's like parts of a plant that are dead, or what the gardener has to do sometimes is break those branches off or cut those leaves or trim that plant. If there's a branch growing into the neighbor's yard, right, you can't have that branch growing there. The neighbor's going to get pissed. You need to saw that branch off and trim your tree, right? That's kind of the vibe here. It's like trim the emotional intoxication, the feeling of giving love and kind of idealizing someone at the very beginning. You have to trim that branch back and get to the roots, get to the trunk of the tree and the branches that are growing in the right direction. That's kind of how I'm seeing this reading. There's a lot of gardening metaphors. There's a lot of plant metaphors, especially on your end. It's giving strong vibes of kind of cutting back the branches, restyling your own tree, you know, and having it where you can assess the situation from that pragmatic viewpoint, right? Yeah, I'm going to end your guys' reading there. Thank you again for letting me read for you. I really appreciate your guys' energy on this channel. I appreciate you being here. If you want to see this channel grow and thrive, please like or comment below. That would be really helpful. You can even subscribe if you feel like future readings will be helpful as well. Thank you guys for being here again. And yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.